Chapter 101, One Force Can Defeat 10 Skills, Episode 2, Chapter 33, Overwhelming Force. Right now, Luo Feng said. If Master requests it, then let's compete. Morosa had no choice. His master was his master. Master, I won't burn my divine power, and I won't use any Chaos Realm techniques. I'll spar with you using only my body, Morosa added, indicating he would exert only about 10% of his strength. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Good. He waved his hand. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In that dim layer of the star tower, 300 silver blade lights floated in the air, each about a zhang long. Morosa, be ready, Luo Feng said with a smile. Bring it on, Morosa replied, eyeing the seemingly ordinary blade lights. He couldn't help muttering to himself, flashy display. His divine body is weak and his realm is low, no real threat. The blade technique I'm using is the first of the 3 Chaos Realm blades of the Breaking World 9 blades. The chaotic blade, Luo Feng said, smiling. It contains a trace of the origin concept of the Great Path of Destruction. Morosa remained calm. His master's mastery of the path's origin had been taught by him. Boom, boom, boom. Each of those 300 blade lights was a condensation of 108,000 billion silver droplets. In their normal form, each blade light would stretch over 10,000 kilometers. But now, shrunk to a single zhang, all that power was concentrated into that short length, making them incomparably sharp. The 3 blades of the Breaking World 9 blades sought to cleave open the cage. Luo Feng had watched Morosa display his own grasp of the Great Path of Destruction's origin and had gleaned some of its hidden profundities from the heavens and earth. He understood that the Path of Destruction branched into multiple tendencies. The Breaking World 9 blades pursued one branch, the slicing branch. Luo Feng had given it that name. When he comprehended it, he understood its nature. It sought to divide everything into 2. Limitless sharpness, aiming to rend all obstacles. As a bladesman, that branch suited him and had received his greatest attention. Now the 300 blade lights were razor-piercing. When they moved as one, they looked like a rolling river of blades, carrying the force of 300 Chaos Realm cultivators burning their divine power in a desperate strike. Rumble. The dense layers of space were shredded. Their force was rivaled only by the final blade of the 9 blades, the Breaking World blade. At close range, Morosa's eyes widened. He burned his divine power. It surged violently. Though his divine body and treasures were formidable, his comprehension of the path's origin was not deep enough. I know, Luo Feng said as Morosa flinched. Luo Feng nodded. Records say the 9-Jiang Marcus can hide in the void, his body existing between reality and illusion. My 300 blade lights would indeed find it hard to land a direct hit on him. Lord Liu Yin is even more fearsome. My current techniques can approach his power, but I probably couldn't even touch him. I honestly don't have the confidence to defeat Lord Liu Yin, Morosa said, returning to his usual calm. He is a peak primal Chaos Realm existence. They say he can transform into a calamity of a world. Before him, all I dare say is that I might preserve my life. Luo Feng smiled. Morosa, don't forget, I only became Chaos Realm not long ago. Morosa was stunned. That's right, Master. You only just reached Chaos Realm. How are you already so strong? This is a set of transformation secret techniques I created using the formless and faceless ability, Luo Feng said. You created them yourself? Morosa was surprised. A complex mix of feelings stirred in him. This was the difference between a world beast and a cultivator. World beasts naturally absorb insights into the Great Path of Destruction's origin. They instinctively comprehend various secret techniques without formal study. Luo Feng nodded. This set of transformation techniques is extremely helpful to the divine body. Even a basic grasp gives me my current strength. 300 blade lights, if they can dodge, shift, and deflect them, what about 1,000? 3,000? Morosa asked. Luo Feng's face took on a calm certainty. Overwhelming force. Even if each blade isn't individually strong, sheer numbers produce a qualitative change. Once the accumulated power reaches a terrifying level, it can even cleave open the cage. Who among them could evade that? The cage would be broken, all obstacles annihilated. 3,000 blade lights. Master, can your power increase tenfold? Morosa couldn't help asking. The Great Path of Destruction's origin was the essence of absolute power, utterly destroying everything. Morosa, favored by that path, understood how terrible absolute destruction could be when it hit a threshold. Sweeping through time, space, worlds, karma, everything shattered. In its face, schemes and karmic ties meant nothing. One could flatten a world. That peak world beast mastered the complete origin of the great path of destruction, yet it's only a first-rate world beast of Tianmu country. It doesn't dare to stir up a calamity. The two great ancient kingdoms' foundations must far surpass even a complete great path of destruction's origin, Morosa mused. He welcomed his master being a guest elder of the Emperor Chu lineage of Yanfeng ancient kingdom. The stronger his master, the safer he would be. I use the life origin lineage to refine my transformation method, Luo Feng said. Then I apply the origin of the great path of destruction to unleash the blade techniques. 300 blade lights are only the beginning, Luo Feng said without concealing anything. His current realm was still low, and the chaotic blade demanded significant mental effort to execute. That he could control 300 blades was purely due to his perfect divine body. A sufficiently strong soul and God-King level will allow him to forcibly control so many blade lights. As his divine body grew and his soul strengthened, the number of blades he could command would increase. More importantly, as his realm rose, his techniques would require less effort to cast, letting him perform ever more. Master, your transformation method is so powerful even at this early stage. If it keeps developing, its potential is enormous, Morosa exclaimed. This method is still only a rudimentary form, Luo Feng admitted. He had only collected 6 types of Chaos Layer creatures and studied just one. The transformation method needed to study many variants to absorb their advantages. Some Chaos Layer beings were naturally at Chaos Realm strength, far stronger than the Silverlight creatures and long held captive by major powers. He believed Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom had captured some. He would find a way to study them later. The perfection of the transformation method, the strengthening of the soul and will, and ascension of his realm, progress in all these areas would increase his power. Luo Feng could sense the path. The transformation method was a path of overwhelming force, destroying everything with absolute power. Perhaps in Chaos Realm he might even cleave open the cage. Of course, even some ancient god kings couldn't achieve that, so he did not indulge in unrealistic hopes. Carry on with your tasks, Luo Feng said, waving his hand and teleporting Morosa out. He returned to seclusion. Having only recently entered early Chaos Realm, this was a period of rapid growth and he wanted to focus. Morosa was teleported away but felt uneasy. Before, his master could only beat him with will-based secret techniques. Now, it seemed Luo Feng might defeat him in a regular fight. I need to find a way to accelerate my own growth, he thought. But I don't know how to research and comprehend. I needed to devour more powerful divine bodies and stronger treasures to improve faster. Those also depend on Master's help. Morosa worried. As a world beast, he had to be extremely cautious during his growth phase. This origin continent was too hostile to a world beast. Grumbling, Morosa prepared to find something to eat and drink. Lord Luosa! Lord Luosa! Mo Yu Qingyan ran over. What's the matter? Morosa glanced at the young man. For 30 epochs he had guided this youth, and Morosa often felt annoyed by him. He seemed foolish here, far inferior to his master. Luo Feng's rate of growth even unsettled Morosa, who had been born with the great path of destruction's origin. Lord Luosa, I've broken through. Mo Yu Qingyan was ecstatic. I've finally mastered all 10 basic laws. Morosa listened, then eyed him with a wry look. Is mastering the 10 basic laws such a big deal? Is it worth all that excitement? Mo Yu Qingyan was stunned, then quickly nodded obediently. Compared to his master and Lord Luosa, 2 super-strong eternal true gods, he was indeed weak. Go get me something to eat, Morosa ordered. Master is secluded and must not be disturbed. Wait until he comes out to tell him about your breakthrough. I'll go right away. Mo Yu Qingyan, who had served long enough to know Morosa's tastes, hurried off to prepare. Morosa watched him run and finally smiled, genuinely pleased. This foolish boy had finally broken through. He had never felt so exhausted, even from his own cultivation. Chapter 34. Luo Feng accepts a disciple inside the Star Tower. Luo Feng sat cross-legged. A wisp of chaos divine power condensed and formed an incredibly small black octahedron. Chaos law patterns rippled across its surfaces. Luo Feng felt as if the octahedron were an extension of his own limb. His consciousness could penetrate it. He couldn't hide his pleasure. At last, the second of the 6 Chaos Layer life forms is cultivated, he murmured. He waved his hand and scattered more divine power. More black octahedrons appeared. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100 million, 108 billion. They multiplied and merged in the same way the silver droplet life forms had before. When the 108 billion black octahedrons fused into one, Luo Feng felt a tangible sense of completion. These Chaos Layer life forms are very similar, he thought. True, naturally born Chaos Layer beings with Chaos Realm strength would probably be fundamentally different, but these are consistent enough to make new transformation methods from. When the octahedrons combined, they formed a mass that looked like a black mountain, solid, unshakable. Luo Feng thought, and 10 silver blades of light sprang forth. They slammed into the black mountain, but the mass merely absorbed the impacts as if into a bottomless void. It didn't budge. The 10 blades could not even make a dent. As expected, exceptional defense, Luo Feng said, and began a series of tests. After a long while, he nodded in satisfaction. The silver droplet transformation he had first comprehended remained his baseline. This black octahedron method isn't good for wielding saber techniques, he noted. Its offensive power is only about 30% of the silver droplet form. Its mobility is around 20%. But its defensive capability is 9 times greater, and it can absorb enemy force and rebound it. The first method, the silver droplet, he thought of as the galaxy transformation. The 108 billion silver droplets combined into a flowing river of light. The new method he named the Black Abyss transformation. Each black octahedron enclosed a sliver of space, allowing it to absorb and redirect energy. That structure explained its extraordinary toughness. Whereas the silver droplet form was already durable, the Black Abyss was 9 times tougher. They can scale large or small, Luo Feng mused. With a thought, the black mountain flowed down and wrapped around him like a robe. I can use 10% of my perfect divine body's power to assume the Black Abyss form completely. Who could harm me then? The robe settled comfortably over him, the star tower protecting the chaos space within his body, and beyond that he felt the embrace of a vast, endless galaxy. I'll study all 6 transformation methods first, he decided. After that, I'll go to the Chaos Layer and gather more of these life forms. The more varieties he learned, the better he could refine his transformations, perhaps eventually forming the most suitable divine body out of nothing. Arrange some food for me, he told Morosa, setting down the always carried pot of wine. Food had to be freshly prepared. The pot of wine alone wouldn't do. Morosa replied instantly, then added hesitantly, Master, there's something I should report. Speak, Luo Feng said, relaxed and in good spirits after his breakthrough. That youth, Mo Yu Qingyan, has mastered the 10 fundamental laws and, through the law lineage, become a void true god, Morosa said. Luo Feng smiled. He finally comprehended them? With you personally guiding him, that took this long? He must not be very quick at comprehension. Morosa bristled. Not quick at all. Compared to you, his comprehension is far, far lower. He had been with Luo Feng for a long time. Even he felt pressure watching Luo Feng grow. Compared to Luo Feng, Mo Yu Qingyan seemed ordinary. He's done very well to come this far, Luo Feng said mildly. Morosa hesitated, then asked the question he'd been holding back. Master, do you plan to accept him as your disciple? Luo Feng observed Morosa with interest. He knew Morosa had grown fond of Mo Yu Qingyan. Don't hide it. I know you want to help him. Morosa let out a soft chuckle. Living with us for 30-plus epochs, day and night, was itself a test of his character, Luo Feng said. That length of time reveals a person's true nature. He knows his place, handles tasks conscientiously, and never used my name for gain. With Luo Feng's prestige in Huyang City, Mo Yu Qingyan could easily have exploited his closeness to them to gain favors. He did not. When his 3 brothers once stood before Luo Feng, only Mo Yu Qingyan remained steadfast. His elders had been reluctant to give instruction, and many true gods on the Origin continent never master the 10 fundamental laws in a lifetime. Despite knowing the danger, Mo Yu Qingyan did not waver. That steadfastness spoke well of his character. Morosa's voice softened. He's close to me. How about letting him acknowledge me as his master? Luo Feng considered it and then shook his head. No, even if you become mighty in time, the status associated with being the disciple of a world beast is not ideal. My current identity is that of a super-eternal true god. In the future, I will be honored in the Yanfeng ancient kingdom. My status will be higher and my influence wider. Being my disciple will grant him many more benefits. Morosa hesitated, tempted by the idea of formal tie and attachment after so many epochs of care, but he ultimately agreed to be cautious. Very well, he transmitted. I will not reveal any pride early on. In the origin continent, acknowledging a master was no small matter. It outweighed even some familial bonds. A master's kindness, the imparting of knowledge, the provision of resources, the gifting of weapons and secrets, the lifelong guidance, was immense. To betray such a commitment was to invite scorn. Mo Yu Qingyan knelt formally and respectfully before Luo Feng. Everyone present witnessed the scene. Luo Feng smiled and invited him to rise. When Mo Yu Qingyan stood, he was trembling with excitement, as if in a dream. Generals Yue Wu and Yong Hu offered their congratulations. You still have much to learn, Luo Feng said with a warm smile. Mo Yu Qingyan glanced involuntarily at Morosa. He had been grateful for the world beast's countless days of careful guidance and had briefly wished to take Morosa as his master, but the thought remained buried. This was his chance to change his fate. After the ceremony, life resumed. Lord Luo Feng's acceptance of a disciple was a small interlude amid the larger conflict between the two chaos states. Time flowed on. One epoch passed. The Ninjiang Marquis continued his attempts to enlist powerful allies, those who were not intimidated by Lord Liuyan, but so far he had failed to secure the assistance he sought. Volume 2, Chapter 35, Blood Food. The origin continent held a vast, frozen expanse known as the Heavenly Extremes Ice Plains. Its territory rivaled that of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, yet the climate was so harsh that cultivators there numbered less than 1% of Yanfengs. There were no kingdoms on the plains, only scattered powers and isolated cities. 9 Jiang Marquis' avatar appeared outside the ice-built city of Guifeng. Guifeng City was a major stronghold, its population several times that of Huyang City. In the heavenly extremes, only cities could support significant numbers of cultivators. Tribes and small settlements rarely survived the cold. Great Saint Juefeng has finally come out of seclusion. The 9 Jiang Marquis had received the summons and come to seek an audience. A sole eternal true god attendant led him through the ice-carved entrance into a cave dwelling at the city's center. The residence of the city's master, Great Saint Juefeng. 9 Jiang Marquis, come in. Great Saint Juefeng's voice rumbled as the attendant ushered him into a sprawling hall. A burly figure with bluish-black skin sat at the head, grinning. Old friend, sit. I was cultivating in seclusion. I kept you waiting. Brother Juefeng, your cultivation is paramount, the 9 Jiang Marquis replied with a practiced smile. He had come to powerful figures for help, beings equal in stature to Lord Liuyan. Great Saint Juefeng was a free spirit who refused to align with any kingdom. He held sway over a vast city and its billions of cultivators, living as he pleased without any challenger daring to provoke him. Strength-wise, he was a primal Chaos Realm peak existence on par with Lord Liuyan, and he had once been a registered disciple under an emperor of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. The competition there had driven him to leave and carve out his own domain on the ice plains. Ha, Ninjiang, always flattering, Wei Feng said. What brings you here? Ninjiang Marquis set his wine cup down and spoke plainly. Brother Wei Feng, my neighbor, Lord Liuyan, is scheming against my fiefdom. I heard, Wei Feng nodded. Liuyan is fierce and overbearing. It would be unsurprising if he tried to bully you. Ninjiang's expression tightened. I can't hold him off alone. That's why I've come for help. Name your price if you will assist. Juefeng lifted a huge greenish-gold wine cup, drained it, and set it down slowly. Is there any other Chaos Realm within your Yu country willing to come to your aid? Ninjiang shook his head. Not really. Those who could contend with Liuyan are few, and even the country lord can't easily mobilize them. How could I persuade them to risk everything? Of course you can't. Yuefeng set the cup down and smiled sadly. Becoming a Chaos Realm takes countless hardships. Who would risk their life for you without tremendous gain? If you offered a God King, Level treasure, maybe, but you have no such thing. Ninjiang swallowed, helpless. You said name your price, but I have nothing to pay with. Who would fight Liu Yin to the death for me? Who is Liu Yin? Feng scoffed. He's ruthless, vengeful, and a primal chaos realm peak who could break to God King at any moment. Ask anyone to risk their life against that, and they'll think twice. What would you ask for, then? Ninjiang pleaded. Feng's grin turned calculating. Your fiefdom has 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. If I help you defend it, the cultivator residence fees, the tributes, from 2 large cities and 100 ordinary cities will belong to me forever. Can you accept that? Ninjiang's face flushed. If he accepted, he'd be left with only Zhujiang City and a handful of smaller towns. A top-tier Chaos realm could easily occupy a large city. To stake everything and be left with so little made no sense. You see, you're still hesitant, Feng said. The struggle for a fiefdom is not a single battle, he continued. It's total enmity with Lord Liu Yin. To make anyone commit, you must offer permanent rewards. But enough of business. Drink. Ninjiang could only force a smile and drink. After an epoch of traveling, he had hoped his allies might stand with him, but when the risk was mortal, not one would. He left with heavy thoughts. Outside Huyang City, flames condensed into Lord Liu Yin's crimson avatar. He had observed the recent skirmish there and expected Ninjiang Marcus to seek allies. After an epoch, he should have realized he can't match eternal, true god-level formations, Liu Yin thought, surveying Huyang from afar. He's been inviting help everywhere. Liu Yin had also learned Ninjiang's efforts had come to nothing. He had endured the years to build his reputation, forceful, domineering, a man others thought twice about opposing. Even if reinforcements arrived, Liu Yin knew a final victor would still be required. He preferred to wait until the situation clarified. Perhaps Ninjiang would concede and surrender the fiefdom outright. Liu Yin, he ordered. Father. At the Heart Shadow Sect stronghold inside Huyang City, Liu Yin received his father's transmission. Contact your senior brothers and sisters and get those 2 Snow Realm envoys to come, Lord Liu Yin directed. When they arrive and preparations are ready, we'll begin. I suspect Ninjiang will withdraw on his own. Yes, father. Liu Yin's face brightened. He sent messages and immediately received assent. Our master has already instructed us. We will assist. Junior brother, rest assured, we'll arrive quickly. The other Snow Realm envoys prepared to rush as ordered. Liu Yin's excitement rose. His father expected Ninjiang to back down. The end seemed near. You're sure this will go smoothly? The black armor general asked, standing by. What does Ninjiang have to face my father? Liu Yin laughed. My senior brothers and sisters are coming. I should prepare some food for them. Food? The general's eyes shone. He had been cultivating in the Snow Realm and knew what that meant. Don't worry, I'll share some with you, Liu Yin said casually. He waved his hand and conjured a model of Huyang City. The Fengyi district houses roughly 10 billion cultivators. Sending them as food to my senior brothers and sisters would be most presentable. Let's go. Liu Yin and his retinue, jointly controlling a Snow Realm envoy, left quietly from the Heart Shadow Sect stronghold. One Snow Realm envoy alone couldn't beat Ninjiang's army formations, but protecting itself was trivial. Even Luo Feng's outward power could not harm one. The Snow Realm envoy traversed the void and appeared over Fengyi district. The city was on edge. Most cultivators hid inside, fearing the ripples of colliding formations. Even the City Lord's mansion and the Heart Shadow Sect's formations shimmered like concentric waves. Ordinary people merely hoped to survive. 10 billion cultivators, precious resources to Snow Realm practitioners, cowered behind protective wards. The pure, sacred white of the Snow Realm envoy hovered above the district. It extended an arm, and its palm swelled until it filled the sky, then reached down to encompass the entire Fengyi district. The commotion drew immediate attention. General Yu, who controlled the Grand Formation, Emperor Chu Yu of the Yanfeng Guild, watching from afar, and the Chaos Masters Luo Feng and Morosa all saw the scene unfold. What is he doing? Morosa murmured, astonished. Luo Feng watched with narrowed eyes. Snow Realm Ancestor had become a god king through the bloodline branch of the Great Tao of Life. Blood carried intricate information and unique power. A strong bloodline could accelerate cultivation dramatically. Snow Realm practitioners prized blood food above all, living cultivators whose blood held the information and vitality needed to feed their path. Morosa could even absorb information from potent bloodlines to evolve his own form. Snow Realm Ancestor had long mastered bloodline arts and cultivated other branches of life's great Tao. For them, capturing blood food was not only practical, it was essential. "He's going to capture the district's cultivators as blood food," someone finally said, voice tight with dread. Panic rose in the streets as the immense snowy palm began to close. The plumes of terror and the helpless cries inside the warded housings were muffled but countless. The Heart Shadow sect's elders and the city lord could do nothing. The Snow Realm envoy came and went as it pleased. Outside observers braced, powerless to intervene. The fate of 10 billion lives hung under a single godlike hand. Chapter 104, Taking Action. After cultivating the transformation technique, Luo Feng's divine body had become a terrifying weapon. His fingers were razor-sharp and packed with limitless power. When he thrust his palm into the chest of the Snow Realm envoy, the mechanical construct yielded far easier than he expected. Luo Feng, who had just stepped out of the void, frowned in surprise. Mechanical secret treasures like the Heart Demon Kite, the Heart Shadow Demon General, and the Snow Realm Envoy were rumored to rival Chaos Realm weapons, extremely sturdy. Yet his hand cut through this one as if it were brittle. He tested it with a thought and confirmed what his fingers already told him. The materials used in this Snow Realm Envoy are low tier for Chaos Realm artifacts, he mused. Being a mechanical assembly, its stability is poor. Eternal true gods can't break it outright, but anyone even marginally stronger than them can damage it. He felt the construct's inner workings as his fingers found and probed them. The valuation came instinctively. His master Zuo Shanke had sold items like these. Luo Feng knew roughly what they were worth. A single Snow Realm envoy, even damaged, was about 200 million cosmic sand, worth keeping. As his hand slipped in, Luo Feng sensed the controllers linked to the envoy: 1 leader, 36 assisting eternal true gods, and 49,000 void true gods. Panic flooded those minds at once. A bloody aura throbbed through the souls of the leader Lu Yinyan and the 36 eternal true gods. They had been given bloodline teachings by the Snow Realm ancestor. The lower-ranked void true gods had not. Bloodline legacies cost blood food to cultivate, and in the Snow Realm those resources were tightly rationed. The lower ranks were left without, sometimes even offered up as blood food for higher disciples. Being born in the Snow Realm had made them powerless and obedient. Luo Feng had no desire to slaughter the 49,000 void true gods. He felt only pity at their fate. With the speed of a striking serpent, he snatched the leader, Lu Yinyan, between his fingers, unleashed an invisible wave that killed each of the 36 assisting eternal true gods, and expelled the 49,000 void true gods, so they tumbled away, scattered like startled birds. He pocketed the Snow Realm envoy. Piercing its chest had damaged a replaceable component. It was repairable and still saleable. He was poor. 200 million cosmic sand was not to be wasted. Then he turned his attention to the blood-robed youth, trembling in his palm. Lu Yinyan looked up and saw the black-robed figure he once thought he knew. His voice shook. "Luo He, you've broken through to the Chaos Realm?" Word of Luo Feng's feat spread instantly. He stood above Fengyi District, holding Lu Yinyan in one hand. Everyone could see. At the City Lord's mansion, General Yue Wu, General Yonghu, and other eternal true gods were stunned. So many of them yearned to cross into the Chaos Realm. Even men publicly acknowledged to have such potential didn't know precisely when it would happen. Now Luo He, whom many thought they knew, had truly stepped across the line. At the Yanfeng Guild, Emperor Chu Yu and the deputy curator watched the scene with satisfaction. He must be brought back to Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, Emperor Chu Yu thought. He sent a remote transmission to Luo Feng cautioning him, "Do not kill Lu Yinyan. With 2 armies on a standoff, the public execution of a royal scion would be intolerable. Lord Lu Yin's pride would force him to act, and even if Yanfeng didn't intervene, the fallout would be dangerous." Luo Feng heard the warning and glanced at Lu Yinyan. The youth's protests rang hollow. Lu Yinyan begged for mercy, invoking his father, Lord Lu Yin, and the Snow Realm ancestor. He knew a newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator might not dare a public killing, but he was not willing to gamble his life. Emperor Chuyu persisted in his counsel. The deputy curator observed that although Luo Feng had instantly killed 36 eternal true gods, he had spared Lu Yinyan alive. Perhaps Luo He was not given to reckless displays. 9 Jiang Marquise's avatar, present at the city lord's mansion, also sent a voice transmission. Congratulations on breaking through, but be cautious. A newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator needed time to grow. This wasn't the moment to become embroiled in a bloody feud. 9 Jiang insisted he would take responsibility for the fight against Lord Luyin if necessary, and that Luo Feng should not rush in. Luo Feng absorbed the strategic counsel, then looked out toward the distant sky. A wisp of blood-colored flame coalesced into a dark red armored figure. The presence was cold and unreadable. Its voice carried across the battlefield. Release my child, hand over the Snow Realm envoy, and pay 1 billion cosmic sand in compensation. Do that, and I will spare you, newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator. Refuse, and I will not be accused of bullying the weak. Luo Feng's gaze met the dark red armor. The armored figure's offer was plain: barter for the life of Lu Yinyan. Luo Feng considered the man's words, then squeezed his fingers. No, Lu Yinyan screamed. The cry was cut off as Luo Feng tightened his grip. Bone and flesh collapsed, the blood-robed youth disintegrated into nothing but ash. The motion was swift and final. Shock rippled through the ranks. 9 Jiang Marquise's avatar fell silent. Emperor Chuyu's face went ashen. Even the dark red armored figure's expression shifted. Luo Feng looked at the dark red armored man and said calmly, "Come, show me how I court death." The sky held its breath. This is bad. At the Yanfeng Guild, Pavilion Master Chuyu and the Deputy Curator both felt their hearts tighten. In this world, God Kings and Chaos Realm cultivators occupied the highest rungs of power, and primal Chaos Realm peak existences were effectively untouchable. Even Imperial Scions of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom would not provoke them lightly. A primal Chaos Realm peak carried a spiritual will of at least that level, sometimes even God King level, and with a reincarnation secret art, they could be reborn while retaining full memories. Who would dare act rashly against such an adversary? If they pushed too far and killed them, the opponent would simply reincarnate. No matter how powerful one's backing, finding the reborn identity would be impossible. Moreover, there was an unspoken code on Origin Continent. God Kings rarely intervened in local Chaos Realm quarrels without real cause. Outside the 2 great ancient kingdoms, primal Chaos Realm peaks stood as the greatest deterrent under ordinary circumstances. "We can't interfere," the deputy curator said, shaking his head. Luo Feng was reckless. Why act on impulse when he was weaker? Perhaps he thought he could save himself. Emperor Chuyu frowned. But a primal Chaos Realm peak's power is terrifying, far beyond that of a newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator. On the city lord's estate, General Yuo Wu's expression tightened. Lord Luyin will have to act, if only for appearances. General Yonghu stood nearby. "I'm afraid Lord Luyin will take out his anger on all of Huyang City." Yuo Wu looked at him. "Lord Luyin is known as the calamity of the world. When he moves, a disaster follows. After such an insult, he'll be even more ruthless. I have a life-saving item the master left me. If things get desperate, I can take you away." General Yonghu nodded, awed. Among the Lord of Yu country's disciples, Yuo Wu's treatment had been 10 times better than theirs. He even held a life-saving item. "Master killed Lu Yinyan. Will Lord Luyin act?" The assassin Mo Yu Qingyan fretted, glancing at Morosa beside him. "Don't panic," Morosa soothed. He and Luo Feng had sparred many times. He knew his master's ability best. The dark red armored avatar hovering above watched Luo Feng coldly. "Good. I hope you're as confident when you die." The avatar dissolved into the void. Luo Feng turned his gaze toward the Heart Shadow Sect outpost. A dreadful pressure had already erupted from it. Lord Luyin's true body had arrived, using the sect's space-time treasure to come instantly. "He's here," Luo Feng said. Emperor Chuyu, the deputy curator, the 9 Jiang Marquise and others all felt the earth-shaking aura issuing from the outpost. Lord Luyin now stood there, looking up at Luo Feng. Luo Feng met his gaze. "You have guts," Lord Luyin murmured. Then he vanished. Immediately the sky darkened. A blood-red fire spread like veins across the heavens. "What is that? What happened to the sky?" Countless cultivators in Huyang City stared up in horror. The blood fire spread like a vascular web, dyeing the heavens a terrible red. An aura of calamity rolled out under that sky. Just seeing it made many feel death pressing close. At the Heart Shadow sect, the Gatemaster and the 18 elders watched in dismay. The Marquise once gave us a space-time treasure to arrive and deal with the Nine Jiang Marcus, the Gatemaster said. Who could have thought this Luo Feng would seek death and provoke the Marcus? Could Luo Feng have backing to act so arrogantly? An elder asked. Among Chaos Masters, Primal Chaos Realm peak existences were exceedingly rare. Lord Luyin's level was comparable to a 9-source Great Sage. How could a newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator dare to resist him? Heart's Eye Elder shook his head. They had witnessed the differences in levels and knew how fearsome a 9-source Great Sage or a Lord Luyin could be. Lord Luyin only asked him to hand over the Snow Realm envoy and compensate 10 billion cosmic sand. Chaos Realm cultivators are very good at preserving their lives, another elder said. It depends on what sort of life-saving secret art Luo Feng has. The sect could do little but watch from a distance. They had seen 9-source Great Sage clash with the Heart Shadow sect's 3 Chaos Realm cultivators before. Using the sect's formation, the 3 had been broken apart, leaving 1 dead and 2 fleeing. The dark red sky extended for hundreds of millions of miles, spreading that ominous aura. Then a gigantic face formed in the bloodfire heavens. It was Lord Luyin's. This is my world. Can your life-saving secret art escape my world? The colossal visage asked. And as for reincarnation, if you are a newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator, can you even recover your memories after reincarnation? Only God King level wills could remain conscious through gestation. For Primal Chaos Realm peak wills, the timing of memory awakening after reincarnation was uncertain. It might be in youth, or as a void true god, or even as an eternal true god. If one died again before awakening, it was a true death. Lord Luyin, did you ask my permission before acting? A voice rang out. The Ninejiang Marcus appeared above Huyang City and stood beside Luo Feng, looking up at the bloodfire sky. Instinctively, void ripples flowed out and blurred the sanguine heavens. Luo Feng, while I hold Lord Liu Yin, you should leave quickly, the Ninejiang Marquis transmitted. Take your friends and flee. I can't hold him long. He's enraged, and I'm afraid he will unleash his anger on the whole of Huyang City. If I win, so much the better, the Marquis added with a smile, then melted into the void to begin the battle. He knew the odds were poor, but he intended to fight and settle who was stronger. The bloodfire world was immense and overwhelming, but an invisible veil of void ripples pressed against it. Ninejiang Marquis, do you think you can stop me? Lord Luyin answered by unleashing tens of thousands of bloodfire avatars of himself, each brandishing a saber of burning fire. They tore through the void ripples. Perish, came a cold shout. A dense net of void cleaved through the tens of thousands of Luyins, shattering them. Luo Feng watched the duel. In terms of sheer realm, both opponents were above him. Their techniques, infused with profound power, were far beyond his own clumsy moves. He couldn't even pinpoint their true bodies. As strength increases, so too did the magnitude and strangeness of their actions. Luo Feng had read much about Chaos Realm cultivators, but nothing compared to witnessing this in person. Since ascending to the Chaos Realm, the only Chaos Realm opponent he'd really fought was Morosa. Luo Feng, aren't you leaving? Pavilion Master Chuyu transmitted urgently. Ninejiang Marquis is holding him off. Leave now. I'll observe a while, Luo Feng replied. Chuyu sent a detailed report anyway. You're making a grave mistake. This is the most detailed intel on Lord Luyin. His true body isn't a single form now. It's that bloodfire world. The world is him, and he is the world. Luo Feng read the files. They were meticulous, full of battle accounts. He had only been able to buy basic information on such primal Chaos Realm peaks. This was invaluable. Luo Feng, aren't you leaving? I can't hold much longer, the Ninejiang Marquis transmitted again. The bloodfire world roiled and seemed to boil everything. Hidden in the void, the Marquis burned his divine power and was increasingly strained. If you can't hold him, leave it to me, Luo Feng said with a slight smile. Leave it to you? The Marquis, still shrouded in void, sounded stunned. Luo Feng stood calm and looked up at the endless bloodfire heavens. Then, a vast silver river rolled out, sweeping across an immense region, no less extensive than the Bloodfire world itself. All of Huyang City felt it. The silver river flowed through every road and residential quarter, shielding the city and preventing the Bloodfire world from harming its inhabitants. I cultivate 15 transformation methods, Luo Feng thought. For large-scale techniques, the Silver River transformation method is my best. In this epoch, he'd even ventured into the Chaos Layer and captured Chaos Layer creatures, refining his transformations. He only used 5 personally, but his cultivation had broadened his choices. Rise, he willed it. Vast silver saber lights arose, 8,000 blades shimmering at once. Lord Liuyin, merged with the Bloodfire world, watched in puzzlement. These blades were immense, but there was no burning divine power. Slash! Luo Feng executed the technique. The 8,000 silver river sabers all performed his knife river slash, a move he had created as his realm grew. He sought simplicity and purity. He removed subtle variations and spatial targeting, keeping only raw power. That reduced the mental strain. As his perfect divine body matured and nourished by his physicality, his soul expanded, allowing his attention to split among many blades. With improvements in multiple aspects, he could unleash 8,000 saber lights with a single thought. The blades retained no fancy spatial tricks, just pure destructive force. When they erupted, layered spatial membranes shattered instantly. Wherever the saber light swept, everything was annihilated. Spatial layers disintegrated, chaos returned. The saber torrent clawed at the outermost membrane of the world, the cage membrane wall. That barrier remained stubbornly resilient. Pure force was not enough to break the cage. This strike was far from capable of breaching it. Still, Ninjiang Marcus, Emperor Chu Yu, and Lord Liuyin were all stunned by the raw magnitude of the attack. The 8,000 sabers rampaged across hundreds of billions of kilometers, pulverizing spatial layers within that span and shredding part of the Bloodfire world itself. Within that radius, unless one could merge with the cage membrane wall, there was nowhere to flee. The only option was to withstand the onslaught. It actually wounded me? Lord Liuyin said, surprised. He hadn't been harmed in a long time since he could become the Bloodfire world. After the saber lights receded and the Bloodfire world regathered, the giant face looked down at Luo Feng. You are not a newly advanced Chaos Realm cultivator, the voice said. You are a primal Chaos Realm peak. Luo Feng, clad in a black robe, stood atop the endless silver river and met that gaze. Who told you I was newly advanced? He answered. Lord Liuyin, this is my home in Huyang City. You were the one who provoked me first. Living in seclusion in Huyang City? The giant face in the sky found it almost unbelievable. On the Origin continent, not every Chaos Realm cultivator wanted a fief. Fiefs meant resources, but they also meant endless entanglements and attachments. Many Chaos Realm masters preferred a quiet corner to cultivate in peace. Nine-Source Great Sage, Great Saint Juefeng, and others had chosen that path, giving up vast resources to avoid vast troubles. Even more cultivated in complete seclusion, posing as ordinary people, while they sought to comprehend the Grand Tao and one day step into the God King level. Lord Liuyin felt his luck had turned rotten. He had offered 200 million cosmic sand as a hire. Had he known the reclusive cultivator was a primal Chaos Realm peak, he would have happily paid 2 billion. Now it was too late. The man in Huyang City had become an enemy. Inside the city lord's mansion, Ninjiang Marquis stared in disbelief and glee. 100 million cosmic sand, and you could recruit a primal Chaos Realm peak? What kind of fortune was that? High above, the colossal face glared down. Luo He, it rumbled, a reclusive Chaos Realm cultivator. You dare interfere between me and Ninjiang Marcus? I never intended to meddle in your dispute over a fief, Luo He answered coolly. What business is it of mine? But your men butchered the innocent in my city. Luo He said, I could not stand by. Lord Liuyin's thoughts spun. It was true. Blood Cloud had massacred indiscriminately. Luo He had chased him out and killed him. When Heart Shadow Sect entered the city, he had tolerated it at first. But when they plundered and slaughtered, he acted. The two forces clashed. From start to finish, Luo He had fought like a super-eternal true god, demonstrating power equal to the 100 million cosmic sand spent to hire him. And when Liuyin Yan captured billions of blood sacrifices, Luo He intervened. A bunch of idiots, causing me such trouble, Lord Luyan muttered. Despite the worsening situation, he still had confidence. He spoke, and a strange, crushing will descended. As a primal Chaos Realm peak cultivator, he had tempered his spiritual will nearly to the initial God King level over countless years. Knowing Luo He was fearsome, he struck with all he had. Luo He frowned. His will technique is like an insect buzzing, annoying. The will test proved stubborn. Lord Luyan found he could not shake Luo He's presence. If you intend to interfere, then prove you have the strength, he declared. Luo He flicked his sleeve. 8,000 saber lights like a silver river surged outwards, sweeping the heavens and earth. Blood and flame were cleared where the blades passed, leaving swirling chaos in their wake. But Lord Luyan's blood and fire world was vast. Luo He's silver river blades scarcely touched a tenth of it. The first blow had done some damage, but the world's spatial layers healed quickly, and the blood-fire domain spread again. A cold snort resonated through the sky. Blood and flame burst into being on Luo He's body, corroding as if he had become an enemy of a living world. No traces at all, yet it corrodes me out of thin air, Luo He thought. Compared to his 8,000 saber lights, Lord Luyan's techniques were mysterious and insidious. Then the whole blood and fire world convulsed. Its world power converged, and a dark red armored figure condensed from the world's essence in front of Luo He. The world body struck at him with a single sudden saber slash aimed at his shoulder. Luo He reacted in time. He recognized the construct. Emperor Chuyu had explained Lord Luyan's ability to form a world body. A physical avatar formed from the world's power, terrifying in close combat and, even if destroyed, unable to harm the cultivator's true body. The crimson blade nicked the black robe on Luo He's shoulder, but could not cut through. Black liquids coursed from his robe, instantly enveloping the saber and the entire armored form. The world body, made to be a crushing close combat force, collapsed under the binding and was annihilated, leaving only its long blood-fire saber. Good weapon, Luo He said, picking it up. Lord Luyan had equipped the world body with a top-grade Chaos Realm blade to maximize its lethal burst. Luo He assessed it at a glance, suitable for primal Chaos Realm peak powerhouses, worth at least 5 billion cosmic sand. He slipped the saber into the star tower. Watching, Lord Luyan was stunned. His world body, converged from the entire blood and fire domain, had been shattered by that binding alone. The difference between them became clear. His whole strength had been in manifesting and defending through a world. Luo He's specialty lay in his physical body. A primal Chaos Realm peak who had focused on cultivating his divine body would be terrifyingly resilient in melee, sometimes impossible to annihilate quickly, even for an ancient initial God King without long-term attrition. Lord Luyan would not give up. The blood and fire world swelled, and invisible forces, strange blood, burning flame, calamity powers, pressed down to infiltrate and wear at Luo He's divine body. He knew some mighty divine bodies looked indestructible until specific penetrating powers were used to break them down. Luo He laughed, and then his body swelled. Not a simple growth, but an unimaginable expansion. He shot through clouds until his head brushed the edge of the starry sky. One finger alone dwarfed Huyang City. Small universes winked in the firmament, but his head already reached the highest permitted celestial height. The scale of his divine body astonished Lord Luyan. Can he maintain such a vast divine body? Lord Luyan panicked. The larger a divine body, the greater the world's suppression on the cultivator, and only ancient god kings normally reached such scale. Even if Luo He was a primal Chaos Realm peak focused on the physical, this was unbelievable. Get lost, Luo He roared. His colossal palms closed over the blood and fire world and crushed it. The domain shattered into chaos. The invisible assault collapsed and fled, then recondensed far away into a weakened blood and fire form, Lord Luyan's more injured projection. Luo He, the distant voice said, a thread of pleading and calculation in it. If you will not interfere in the conflict between me and Ninjiang Marquise, we can discuss terms. I'm protecting this place, the towering divine body replied, his voice rolling like thunder. Lord Luyan's face went hard. He knew he had a fief, subordinates, clansmen, too many attachments. Luo He, a reclusive primal Chaos Realm peak, had only an old retainer and a disciple at his side. A cultivator like that, with so few ties, could be an unpredictable problem even for a god king. No one dared provoke him lightly. With a snort, Lord Luoyin merged into the heavens and earth and vanished. Down below, cultivators across Yang City craned their necks. Heavy clouds hid most of the form. They only saw the waist of an infinitely majestic black-robed divine body, and the oppressive pressure it radiated wrung pale fear from onlookers. A divine body as tall as heavens and earth? Ninjang Marquise murmured. A primal chaos realm peak who specialized in the physical was terrifying. Facing a figure that filled the heavens was suffocating. Mo Yu Qingyan stared up, dazed. This is my master? Luo Feng stood on the ground with his head seemingly touching the edge of the starry sky, watching the tiny figure of Lord Luoyin merge into the heavens and earth and vanish. I'm extremely strong in close combat, he thought, but my methods for trapping an enemy are lacking. Lord Luoyin could leave whenever he wanted. I couldn't stop him at all. He had only been in the Chaos Realm a relatively short time. To the outside world, he appeared to be a primal Chaos Realm peak cultivator who had focused entirely on the body. But Luo Feng knew why his physical strength was so extraordinary. On one hand, his perfect divine body had been cultivated to its limit, already rivaling a top-tier Chaos Realm existence. On the other hand, he had absorbed and mastered many transformation techniques through his formless and faceless ability. Those transformations were, in practice, even more potent than conventional body refinement methods. A perfected divine body is ultimately composed of divine power, but the transformation techniques carried the spirituality of life and had already produced a qualitative change. That transformed state made an otherwise perfected body terrifyingly powerful. With a soft whoosh, Luo Feng shrank back to his normal size and landed inside the city lord's mansion. Luo He. Ninjang Marquis stepped forward eagerly, his gratitude plain and his posture humble. I never dreamed that this small Zhujiang Chao state would have Luo He living in seclusion among us. It's a blessing for my entire fiefdom. I once mistook you for an eternal true god and neglected you. Truly, I have been remiss. You flatter me, Luo Feng said. He had only met Ninjang Marquis a few times, so they were not close, but Ninjang had always seemed sincere. When Lord Luoyin first acted, Ninjang had made an effort to stand against him as well. That had left a good impression. I've prepared some simple food and wine. Let's sit and talk. Ninjang had already made the arrangements and led the way enthusiastically. Luo Feng inclined his head and followed. He glanced toward Mo Yu Qingyan and Morosa standing at a distance. Mo Yu Qingyan's expression was still somewhere between shock and elation. Master is truly formidable, Mo Yu Qingyan whispered to himself, thoughts racing. Morosa, standing beside him, was more composed. Lord Luosa, Mo Yu Qingyan murmured, the outside world thought you were Master's protector. How could I deserve such a title? I'm nothing but a servant, Morosa said with genuine feeling. Even his soul had been bound. He was an absolute servant and understood what that meant. He also understood that Luo Feng, as a full cultivator, could freely attach himself to powerful forces on the origin continent, while Morosa had to operate in shadow and caution. In truth, Luo Feng was Morosa's protector. Kid, seize this chance, Morosa urged Mo Yu Qingyan. Becoming Master's only direct disciple is a rare good fortune. Cherish it. I understand. Mo Yu Qingyan nodded. Being the only disciple of a primal chaos realm peak cultivator was an enormous opportunity, and he would be careful. Farther away, other cultivators watched with envy and disbelief. General Yue Wu, Mo Li Xiao, the Huyang city lord, and several eternal true gods were all deeply shocked. Menghua Luju, the dream flower lord, sighed to himself. He even listened to Luoya's music and to me, and shed tears? Perhaps something truly touched him. He has genuine feeling. Diao Rongqi watched from a distance and remembered how this chaos realm existence, stronger than Lord Lu Yin, had once been willing to help him seek revenge. For many present, it was the first time they had seen such a majestic, sky-piercing divine body. Even Ninjang Marquis felt bowed under its presence. The shock to ordinary cultivators was easy to imagine. At Yanfeng Guild, Emperor Chu Yu and the deputy curator discussed the newcomer. Luo He is surprisingly a primal chaos realm peak, the deputy curator mused. He seems single-mindedly focused on divine body training. Other aspects are weaker. Across the origin continent, there are dozens of Chaos Realm cultivators focused on the body, but those who can make their bodies tower like the heavens and earth are rare. Emperor Chu Yu smiled slightly. Height isn't the only measure. Divine body specialists usually aim for greater power, not necessarily height. For example, our Yanfeng's Lord Mingguo trains his body, yet is not enormous in stature, and still reaches chaotic realm transcendent strength to rival ordinary god kings. They talked about ranks. Primal Chaos Realm Peak approaches the threshold of a god king, but Chaotic Realm Transcendence possess essentially god king level power, very rare and mostly confined to the major ancient kingdoms. Luo He's ability to suppress Lord Lu Yin shows superiority, the deputy curator said, but his failure to force out any of Lord Lu Yin's escape secrets means his advantage has limits. If he comes under the patronage of my Emperor Chu lineage and receives better cultivation, he'll achieve far more, Emperor Chu Yu said. The deputy curator admitted a concern. None of their records had ever mentioned such a powerful individual suddenly appearing. Emperor Chu Yu only laughed and said, "What of it? At worst, he's a reincarnated god king." Reincarnated powerful beings were not unheard of, but to the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, they were little more than ripples. Back in the Huyang City Lord's Mansion, inside an elegant pavilion, Ninjiang Marquis and Luo Feng sat opposite each other. "This time, I'm truly indebted to you, Luo He," Ninjiang said. "I've traveled much of the origin continent trying to invite strong allies, but none would come." Luo Feng understood. Lord Lu Yin was dangerous and domineering. Other primal chaos realm peaks would think twice before opposing him. Luo Feng, who had come to the origin continent through the reincarnation passage and had few ties, could act more freely. If his family and friends had been here, he would have hesitated too. "I know they were hard to recruit," Ninjiang went on. "I couldn't pay enough. I only offered a paltry 100 million cosmic sand, and yet you preserved the fiefdom. I don't have anything precious enough to repay you." Ninjiang's resources were tied up in his cultivation. His armaments and secret arts were too valuable to part with. He had thought long and hard and finally said, "Luo He, you live in seclusion here and have intervened for the city's people. You must care for Huyang City. I've decided to give Huyang City to you. From now on, Huyang City will pay only 20% of its residential fees to the God Kings. Everything else belongs to Luo He, including city management and decisions." Luo Feng was taken aback. "Give him a city?" Huyang City was within Yu country's territory. The 20% to the God Kings was fixed, but the remaining 80% of income and other resource outputs would belong to him. "You'll be going to the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom soon," Ninjiang continued. "You won't be here to oversee it, but with your current prestige, even a divine power avatar left behind will deter trouble. Your subordinates can manage the city." He admitted his own motive frankly. "After you leave, Lord Liu Yin may still have designs on Huyang City. If it becomes Luo He's city, Lord Liu Yin won't dare to invade. In truth, I'm using one city to preserve the rest of my fiefdom." Luo Feng considered it a moment and then nodded. "All right, I accept." Huyang City had been the first city he lived in after arriving on the origin continent. It held meaning. His name attached to it would deter future threats like Lord Liu Yin. Ninjiang Marcus laughed with joy. The income of his whole fiefdom included 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. Giving up 1/5 of his fiefdom to secure the rest and bind a primal chaos realm peak expert was well worth it. "With your intervention, this war is over," Ninjiang said. "The Heart Shadow sect is trapped in the city. How do you plan to deal with them?" "How to deal with them?" Luo Feng pondered. "The Heart Shadow sect has 2 Chaos Realm cultivators who fled outside. The core treasures of the sect are in their hands. The eternal true gods of the sect don't hold particularly precious items. It wouldn't be worth it for you to lower yourself. Here's what we can do. I'll send my men to search the Heart Shadow sect. Any treasures found will belong to Luo He. Let the sect itself go. The world won't say Luo He is bullying the weak," Ninjiang suggested. Luo Feng shook his head. "They plundered and massacred in Huyang City. They offended me." Ninjiang was startled. "If they revel in plunder and slaughter, the Heart Shadow sect should be disbanded. As for their eternal true gods, investigate them one by one. Those responsible for the massacres within Huyang City will be executed without exception. Those who didn't participate can go. What about the two Chaos Realm cultivators outside? Ninjong asked. This will completely offend them. If they're offended, so be it. What can they do? Luo Feng said with a cool glance. I don't have Nine Source Great Sage's patience. Chapter 108, The Two Major Factions of the Origin Continent. Ninjong Marcus smiled at Luohi's words. Very well, we'll do as Luohi says. Privately, he sighed. Luohe had only an old servant and a single close disciple with him. Few ties, few scruples. How enviable. Still, a primal Chaos Realm peak like this was his friend, so he would defer. Huyang City belongs to Luohe, Ninjong Marcus told him. I still need to report to the Lord of Yu Country. The main thing now is that the 5 great families who controlled the City Lord's mansion must be relocated. Then I'll leave that to you, Ninjong Marcus. Luohe nodded. In a few quiet exchanges, the fates of everyone in Huyang City were decided. Inside Huyang City, the Heart Sect was in chaos. Lord Luyin has retreated. What should we do? Asked the Heart Shadow Gatemaster as the 18 elders and Chu Yi panicked. Their lives now hung by the decisions of Ninjong Marquis and Luohe. What can we do? With Luohe and Ninjong Marcus both in the city, we have no power to resist. We can only hope for mercy. Perhaps, for the sake of our 2 ancestors, they'll spare our lives. Treasure, however, will surely be confiscated. As they argued, a void fluctuation swept through the Heart Sect base. Every eternal true god present was powerless. One moment there, the next moment gone. Where are we? Have we been captured? When they opened their eyes, they were in a vast prison. The Heart Shadow Gatemaster and the others understood immediately. Being seized alive and transported through the void could only be the work of Ninjong Marquis. Standing before thousands of captive eternal true gods was Jiang Yuyo, one of Ninjong Marcus's personal guard commanders, flanked by his subordinates and by Morosa and Mo Yu Qingyan. By order of City Lord Luohe, we are investigating the Heart Sect's looting and slaughter of Huyang City's citizens, Jiang Yuyo announced. The words sent tremors through the crowd. Investigate looting and slaughter? Ancestors, we've been captured alive by Luohe and Ninjong Marcus. They'll investigate our looting and slaughter. What should we do? The Heart Shadow Gatemaster urgently contacted the 2 Chaos Realm ancestors. Endure it, came the terse reply. Our Heart Sect cannot afford to offend Luohe right now, the other ancestor added. The remainder of their responses were short and evasive. The Heart Shadow Gatemaster pressed, Are we to let them kill us? Communication was abruptly cut on one end. It depends on whether Luohe is merciful, the other finally said, then went silent. The 2 Chaos Realm ancestors were exhausted. Previously, Heart Sect recklessness had cost the bloodline of the 9 Source Great Sage, that had provoked a devastating response. One ancestor had already died, and the others had fled. 9 Source Great Sage had hesitated in his actions. Luohe, however, could act with fewer reservations. If they enraged him again, the consequences could be worse. Ancestors! Ancestors! The Heart Shadow Gatemaster pleaded, but both connections were dead. By order of City Lord Luohe, the Heart Sect is declared disbanded, Jiang Yuyo said coldly. As a collective, the Heart Sect is guilty of ordered looting and slaughter. All disciples who participated in looting and slaughter are to be executed without mercy. Fear rippled across the prisoners. Their sect, erased. Their deaths, decided. If some merely looted under orders and did not slaughter, their punishment will be lighter, Jiang Yuyo added. Relief spread among those who hadn't truly taken lives. My Heart Sect has 2 Chaos Realm ancestors. Do you dare to kill us? Others cried out. Luohe and Ninjong Marquis are both Chaos Realm. You cannot bully the weak. But under the City Lord's mansion's formation, they were restrained and silenced. With Luohe and Ninjong Marcus overseeing the situation, the Heart Sect's eternal true gods had no means of resistance. My City Lord's mansion monitored the entire city and recorded the looting and slaughter, Jiang Yuyo told Morosa. The Heart Sect itself also left records of the events. No one who slaughtered will escape, and no eternal true god will be mistakenly killed. Master is still merciful, Morosa said mildly, looking over the captives. Luohe is merciful. Those who enjoyed slaughter should be punished, he added. These weak citizens were helpless. There was no need for slaughter. Some disciples wantonly caused trouble and implicated us all. Those heart-sect eternal true gods who would survive praised him as well. Survival mattered more than sectal pride, especially for a sect already in decline. Many welcomed, in their way, the possibility of the sect's complete dissolution. In the royal capital of Yu country, in the cave where Princess Yu Shuitianyu resided, she read the detailed intelligence of the Battle of Huyang City. The sudden appearance of a primal chaos realm peak in a border nation was a major event. Subscribers to long-term intelligence at Yanfeng Guild's Dark Hall received the news immediately. This Luo He is actually a primal chaos realm peak who has been living in seclusion in Huyang City? Yu Shuitianyu could hardly believe it. As daughter of the Lord of Yu country, she knew exactly what such a level meant. In a peripheral nation, a chaos realm peak could already shape national order. Even royal descendants of the two great ancient kingdoms were cautious around such power. "Bring Black Butcher and Suozi," she ordered. Her attendant bowed and left. Black Butcher and his disciple Suozi soon arrived. Respectful and a little puzzled, Suozi was merely a disciple and normally wouldn't be summoned to meet the princess. "Your Highness," they greeted. "I've just received news," Yu Shuitianyu said, smiling at them. Lord Luoyin personally took action in Huyang City. Black Butcher and Suozi were astonished. Luo He took action and defeated Lord Luoyin, she continued, watching their reactions. His true identity is a primal chaos realm peak who has been in seclusion in Huyang City all along. That you two managed to befriend him, consider it fate. "You may go," she added softly. They bowed and left. Yu Shuitianyu watched them depart, thoughts already turning. They might be useful in the future. At Yanfeng Guild, Emperor Chuyu and Luo He sat with the deputy curator. "Luo He, you really fooled me," Emperor Chuyu said with a wry smile. "I thought you were merely an eternal true god. I was living in seclusion in Huyang City, fully devoted to refining the body method," Luo He explained. With Morosa nearby, playing the part of a secluded cultivator made sense. If the outside world suspected he might be a reincarnated powerhouse, so be it. Such whispers weren't worth quelling. "Since you've reached the Chaos Realm, and I've been there a while as well, we can prepare to return to the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom," Emperor Chuyu said. "I can leave at any time," Luo He replied. Driven by intelligence from Zuo Shanka's lineage and Duan Donghe's, he was curious about the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and eager to see it. Origin Ancestor was also there. Luo He had promised to meet him. "You should know that most of the true powerhouses on the Origin continent are concentrated in the two great ancient kingdoms," Emperor Chuyu said. "In the Chaos Realm, peripheral nations usually stall once they reach the primal Chaos Realm peak. But within the two great ancient kingdoms, there are rare, powerful inheritances, things that can elevate a Chaos Realm cultivator to strength approaching an ordinary god king. That level is what the two great ancient kingdoms treat as the Chaos Realm limit. They call it the Chaotic Realm Transcendent level," he continued. "And at the God King level, the two great ancient kingdoms are far stronger than any other nations. Powerful god kings, lords of states like Yu country and Shi country, are often guest elders of the ancient kingdoms. Besides the native factions, almost every other force on the Origin continent pledges to one of the two great ancient kingdoms." Luo He nodded. "The peripheral nations must choose a side. Only first-rate forces could maintain favor with both. Yu country and Shi country were small compared to the ancient kingdoms, and within them, the Yanfeng Guild was a primary power. On the Origin continent, the two great ancient kingdoms set the rules," Emperor Chuyu said. "Their territories are the center. They hold the best resources. Competition inside them is fierce. My Yanfeng ancient kingdom has many internal factions," he added. "The 13 branches of the royal family, the emperor's lineage disciples, the disciples of guest god kings, and unattached cultivators like you. Competition is relentless. There are only so many precious resources and too many competitors. The strong grow stronger while the weak get squeezed out." Emperor Chuyu met Luo He's steady gaze. "When we return, I'll need your help. Of course, I will help you in return." "I understand," Luo He said. He had long known the two great ancient kingdoms were packed with powerhouses and competition. Avenge his master, Zuo Shanki, would not be easy. Even the three lords of Shi country couldn't be eliminated at will. To reach the level of power necessary, he needed more than he currently possessed. The Yanfeng ancient kingdom seemed the best place to find the required inheritances. Competition didn't scare him. There are also constant conflicts with the Thunder ancient country, Emperor Chu Yu went on. Border clashes never stop. Small fights involve Chaos Realm battles. Large-scale conflicts draw out God Kings. I've heard enough, Luo He said with a grin, his fighting spirit rising. A perfect divine body formed in the Chaos Realm with 5 transformation methods fused together. Was he afraid of a fight? Good, Emperor Chu Yu said, pleased by his confidence. Admittedly, he worried for the future. Newly promoted and not yet strong, he needed guest elders' support. A new curator will arrive at the Yanfeng Guild soon. Once the handover is complete, we'll return. Chapter 109, New Huyang City, end of this episode. After the battle between the 2 primal Chaos Realm peaks, ancient Huyang City finally settled into peace. The Heart Shadow Sect's forces had been routed and its holdings seized. It's a pity my weapons and all the cosmic sand I'd hoarded were taken, one cultivator muttered. Alive is good enough, another replied. Let's move quickly. That night, a large number of eternal true gods, void true gods, and true gods from the Heart Shadow Sect were released. Many eternal true gods carried heavy mechanical secret treasures and personal items. Inheritance artifacts had been taken as well. Now those possessions were gone. No single weapon remained in their hands. The lower-ranked void true gods and true gods fared better. Although dispossessed, they were not worried. The Heart Shadow Sect is finished. Lord Lu Yin and the 2 old ancestors don't care about us anymore. Where should we go now? One asked. With our strength, there's nowhere we can't go, replied another. I'd rather settle in a regular city than live on a border that might be fought over again. Some eternal true gods chose to leave Huyang City. After all, as former disciples of a major sect, their secret arts and experience made them confident traveling. But many void true gods and true gods, weaker and less inclined to wander, elected to stay. The Heart Shadow Sect hadn't taken everything. Some felt gratitude toward Luo He, great saint, for not confiscating certain belongings. Over 80% of the eternal true gods left, but most mid- and lower-ranked cultivators remained in Huyang City, planning to put down roots. The city's population of powerful cultivators rose noticeably. Huyang City is going to be lively from now on, people said. On the wall outside the city lord's mansion, Luo Feng looked down at the peaceful city under the night sky. This was his city now. Master, Morosa said, appearing at his side. All the Heart Shadow Sect treasures have been sealed and are under my personal management. Everything has been inventoried. How much did we take? Luo Feng asked. All of it that was accessible, Morosa answered, producing a black jade bottle. The sect stored its wealth in the Yanfeng Guild's Dark Hall, which was personally overseen by 2 primal chaos cultivators. They only released small sums under special application. What we seized were mostly the sect's physical holdings. Luo Feng examined the bottle. We got their assets and a lot of what they'd plundered from the city mixed together. There's a bit over 2.9 billion cosmic sand in liquid holdings and roughly 3.7 billion cosmic sand worth of weapons and treasures. The Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom warship, the sect guarding secret treasure, and other large items, valued conservatively. He nodded. The total was just over 6 billion cosmic sand. Any one of the Heart Shadow Sect's 2 primal Chaos Realm ancestors had likely amassed more than that. A single weapon belonging to Lord Lu Yin might be worth 5 billion on its own. As for sect inheritances, Morosa continued, besides the lesser ones, there are 122 primal Chaos Realm inheritances and 5 God King level inheritances. But those 5 God King inheritances only contain the sections up to the Chaos Realm. According to interrogation records, the subsequent parts for reaching the Primal Chaos Realm are held by the 2 Primal Chaos cultivators. Luo Feng already found the 5 God King level inheritances inside the black jade bottle. He let his divine power probe them and confirmed they abruptly ended at the Chaos Realm. No further sections existed there. He sighed inwardly. High-level inheritances were tightly controlled. To obtain one suited to yourself, you had to pay a price. Becoming a guest elder of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom might open opportunities to compete for resources and inheritances, but that came with its own demands. Even someone like Emperor Chu Yu had to contend for resources with royal family interests. That night, the descendants of the 5 great families who had long ruled Huyang City were unhappy. Their status had depended on the old order. Now the city belonged to Luo He Great Saint, and their idle privileges were gone. The Yanfeng Guild has arranged a flying boat to escort the families away. Prepare at once, an official announced. The families had no real grounds to object. The 9 Jiang Marquis, the Lord of the Fief, willingly ceded Huyang City to Luo He, and the royal capital agreed. The Yanfeng Guild would relocate them. Many were shipped back to their ancestral lands for reassignment. Mo Li Meng, who had handled many city affairs and was competent, was especially concerned. "Father," Mo Li Meng said to Mo Li Xiao. "Follow the city lord well from now on," Mo Li Xiao said with a smile. "I would like to stay too, but I have duties in the royal capital and must obey orders." Mo Li Xiao, who had been responsible for legion matters under the previous administration, departed with most of the family's descendants. He left Mo Li Meng with a few household retainers and 3 family eternal true gods as assistants. Luo Feng had personally invited Mo Li Meng to remain. His city management experience would be valuable in the new order. Luo Feng cared less about Mo Li Xiao. The future Huyang City wouldn't need a legion for deterrence. In the city lord's mansion, Luo Feng appointed Mo Li Meng and Mo Yuhu as deputy curators. "You two will handle the city's affairs. If something can't be resolved, report to me," he said. "We will, city lord," they replied, both visibly excited. Previously, the 5 great families had jointly managed the city. Now Mo Li Meng found himself in a far stronger position and under the patronage of a primal chaos peak. Mo Yuhu, who had served under Mo Li Meng before, was equally thrilled. Luo Feng continued, "I'll set 2 main rules immediately. First, there will be no darkness faction in Huyang City." Mo Li Meng and Mo Yuhu understood the implications at once. The darkness faction had skimmed merchants' profits and extorted businesses. Without it, commercial life would flourish and the city would be more attractive to cultivators wishing to settle. Second, Huyang City will not maintain the Huyang Legion. The Huyang Guard will remain and be responsible for internal order. The Legion's role had been to deter external threats and handle powerful opponents, functions the city's future did not require. Those are the 2 major points. Work out the rest of the management plan together and submit it to me. I want the City Lord's Mansion's administration to be as streamlined as possible." "Yes, City Lord," they answered. "City Lord," Mo Li Meng said, "the population after the war stands at about 500 billion. Quarterly residence fees bring in around 50 million cosmic sand, and artifacts from the Chaos Ruins yield roughly 6 million cosmic sand per epoch. 20% of the residence fee goes to the royal capital. The remainder covers the city's operations. The portion available to the city lord each quarter should be about 30 million cosmic sand." Luo Feng understood. It wasn't an enormous sum, but it was steady. Over 1,000 epochs, that would accumulate to 30 billion cosmic sand. Still, even great families on Origin Continent faced enormous resource burdens. Resident clansmen, cultivation expenses, and many descendants to provide for. The royal family of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom itself had to ration resources carefully. Even a guest elder would have to compete. City Lord, Mo Yuhu asked respectfully, "Some cultivators joining the City Lord's mansion hope to obtain cultivation inheritances. If they earn enough merits, they'll have opportunities to exchange for them," Luo Feng replied. Cultivators followed powerful figures because inheritances accelerated growth. Without them, progress was far harder. The 2 deputies left at once to begin drafting the city's new management plans. Morosa, who had been standing nearby, observed, "Master, Mo Li Meng has several eternal true gods and has garnered pledges from others like Gao Wushui. His faction is strong, while Mo Yuhu's faction is weaker." "You're wrong," Luo Feng said with a smile. "Most of the Zhu clan returned tonight and are currently with Mo Yu Li Feng." Because Mo Yu Li Feng was Zhu Yu's disciple, the Zhu clan had already pledged to the Mo Yu family at the first opportunity. Luo Feng had deliberately arranged for power to be balanced so the deputies would check one another. Huyang City gradually settled into a new order. Eternal true gods and void true gods who had once been plundered by the Heart Shadow sect, now found that the Darkness faction had vanished and their fixed assets had been returned under the city lord's auspices. Merchants breathed easier, and business boomed. Life will be better now, ordinary traders said, grateful for Luo Feng's removal of the Black Butcher's extortion. Gao Wushui, leading a Huyang guard unit, looked at the bustling streets and smiled. With a primal chaos realm cultivator overseeing our city, more true gods are coming to settle. Elsewhere, Luo Feng, accompanied by a servant and a disciple, rejoined Emperor Chuyu and his group. It seems your two deputy curators are managing Huyang City well, Emperor Chuyu observed. How prosperous the city becomes will depend on you, Luo He. The stronger you grow, the more prosperous it will be. Luo Feng glanced back at the city and smiled. It will become even more prosperous. Let's go, Emperor Chuyu said, producing a spatial temporal treasure. The void in front of them twisted and a passage opened. Emperor Chuyu, his deputy, and Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa and Moyu Qingyan, entered the spatial temporal corridor together and departed for the distant Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Chapter 110. Guest Official Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, Chu Capital, outside the East City Gate. Elite troops stood at attention, and a row of large ships and flying vessels had already docked nearby, waiting expectantly. I heard the newly appointed Marquis Chuyu was made a first-rank Marquis right away, one young imperial descendant said on a flying vessel. He cultivated the law lineage and has the infinite divine body. With that kind of potential, it's no surprise he rose so fast. He even guided me back then, another chimed in, pride thick in his voice. With the infinite divine body, his status in the clan was already special. Now that he's broken through to the Chaos Realm and become a first-rank Marquis, he's one of our core Emperor Chu lineage. These imperial descendants all belong to the Emperor Chu branches, and they swelled with pride. The 13 imperial branches were the heart of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Other noble houses were comparatively weak. Chaos Realm families, unless they produced a chaotic realm transcendent, rarely penetrated the imperial circles. On a nearby luxurious ship, two marquises drank and complained about status. The short, rotund man sighed. Being a first-rank Marquis is different. You get a first-rank residence, a personal army, a first-rank large city as your fief, and the right to apply for 2 guest elders. And us? The chubby man grumbled. Third-rank marquises get a small city, a modest dwelling, a handful of guards. We don't even qualify to apply for guest elders. The tall woman beside him laughed. We rely on our bloodline to reach the Chaos Realm, then we have to switch to law cultivation. Law is brutal. I'd be happy to reach 2nd rank in my lifetime. 1st rank is a dream I won't dare to hope for. You still have a chance, at least your mid-level Chaos Realm. Me. The chubby man tapped his chest. Among the 29 titled marquises in the Emperor Chu lineage, only 2 of us are just ordinary Chaos Realm cultivators. I'm one of them. It's been over 3,000 epochs since I became Chaos Realm, and I'm still not near the peak. Their conversation was cut short by a tear in the sky, a space-time tunnel forming in the distance. They're here, they cried. Everyone watching the gate turned at once. 5 figures emerged from the tunnel, flying toward the city. Emperor Chuyu led the group, accompanied by the deputy curator. Luo Feng arrived with Morosa and Moyu Qingyan at his side. The man walking beside Chuyu, cloaked in black, drew attention. Who's that with Marquis Chuyu? Someone whispered. It's Luo He Great Saint from Yu Country, another answered. Word had already spread in some circles about the Origin continent's top powerhouses. He suppressed Lord Lu Yin in the Huyang City battle. His physical cultivation is off the charts, a primal chaos realm peak existence, they say. They wondered if Luo He was the guest elder Marquis Chuyu had chosen. Luo Feng and Emperor Chuyu had traveled the space-time tunnel from distant Huyang City. The teleportation stirred something in Luo Feng. Space-time travel was profound and, for Chaos Realm cultivators, depended largely on treasures. He had used a one-time space-time talisman that would be destroyed after a single use. Such a teleportation talisman needed a Chaos Realm cultivator to activate and cost 100 million cosmic sand, a resource only squandered in the most critical moments. As they emerged, the troops below shouted in unison. Greetings, Marquis. Emperor Chuyu smiled and gestured to the formation. These are the personal guards I was granted after achieving Chaos Realm, elite troops raised by our Emperor Chu lineage. Luo Feng looked over the army. 1,000 eternal true gods and countless void true gods stood under a cohesive military formation, moving as one body. Their presence eclipsed both the Nine Jiang Marquise's forces and the Heart Shadow Sect's army. This personal guard was an elite even within the Yanfeng ancient kingdom. "Father," called a dignified woman from the front of the formation, flanked by 3 excited youths. They had rushed back from Fengye City upon hearing the news. Their father had become a Chaos Realm cultivator and a first-rank Marquise. Emperor Chu Yu led Luo Feng forward. "Chu Yu, as soon as I heard you were ennobled, I came back with the children," the woman said. "Your becoming a first-rank Marquise has spread across the Chu capital. There are only 7 first-rank Marquises in our Emperor Chu lineage, and father is one of them," the 3 sons exclaimed. Emperor Chu Yu introduced Luo Feng. "This is my close friend, Luo He Great Saint. From now on, treat him as you would me." "Greetings, uncle," the children bowed in respect. The lady returned Luo Feng's polite nod. Luo Feng noted the exchange felt formal rather than intimate. After so many years, they greeted each other as kin, but without any special closeness. The real warmth showed when Emperor Chu Yu embraced an old servant at the formation's edge. "Marquise," the old man blurted, shaken. Old Zheng, though only void true god level, had been left to care for Chu Yu by his mother and had stayed by his side through the hardest times. Tears glistened in his eyes at seeing his charge return as a marquis. As more marquises of the Emperor Chu lineage arrived, the welcome turned into a lively reunion. Luo Feng watched them, already familiar with the political landscape. Before he came, Emperor Chu Yu had briefed him about the Origin Continent's top cultivators and the Chaos Realm figures within the Yanfeng ancient kingdom. "The Emperor Chu lineage has 29 titled marquises," Luo Feng noted to himself as he scanned faces. 7 came today. 5 are 3rd rank, 2 are 2nd rank. None of the 1st rank marquises showed. Competition among 1st rank marquises was fierce. They were the direct rivals for the dynasty's core resources. 3rd rank marquises were almost ignored by the imperial household, given only minimal support. 2nd rank marquises received more. 1st rank marquises had access to the true core resources and fought ruthlessly among themselves. Guest elders, by contrast, were in an exchange relationship with the kingdom. They performed services and earned merit to trade for resources, so the resources they received were far less than the core allotments given to 1st rank marquises. Still, the status of a guest elder often required a high threshold and a trustworthy identity. Once the greetings settled, Emperor Chu Yu led Luo Feng onto his large ship. The lady and the 3 children sat at the rear, while Chu Yu and Luo Feng took the front hall, watching the east gate recede. "Those who came were all 2nd rank and 3rd rank marquises," Chu Yu explained. "Our lineage has 3 divine kings. They're above day-to-day matters. A lot is handled by us 1st rank marquises." "So they came to curry favor," Luo Feng observed. "Exactly," Emperor Chu Yu nodded. "Among imperial descendants, the path to 1st rank is usually either the infinite divine body or primal chaos realm peak strength. For outsiders like you, being made a guest elder is more complicated." "I appreciate you applying on my behalf," Luo Feng said. "Already done," Chu Yu smiled. "Under normal circumstances, it will be approved." Luo Feng asked what could block the approval. "2 things, insufficient strength or a problematic identity," Chu Yu said. "You're a primal chaos realm peak, so strength won't be the problem. Identity could be tricky, but I don't think that applies to you." As the ship crossed the vast gate, the city's identification checks completed and the personal guard marched in. "What do you mean by identity?" Luo Feng asked, curious. "Our kingdom is picky only about one thing, alien races," Chu Yu replied. "By alien races, I mean life from outside the cage. Our inheritance resources can be passed to any life within the cage, but never to outsiders." Luo Feng was taken aback. "So entering Chu capital confirms you're a life within the cage?" "Exactly," Chu Yu grinned. "Chu capital was personally refined by our progenitor as a gift to the emperor. Any alien life entering the city will be detected." Luo Feng considered that. The progenitor, the 13 emperors, all the more formidable now. He had been identified, cleared, and welcomed. Chu Yu's grin widened. Your guest elder application was approved the moment your identity was verified. Congratulations, Luo He. You are now officially a guest elder of our Emperor Chu lineage. Luo Feng smiled and inclined his head. Thank you, Brother Chu Yu. Emperor Chu Yu said, after you become a guest elder of my Chu lineage, you will receive a guest elder token, a residence, and 10 attendants. The residence is in the Chu capital and is very valuable. Luo Feng, also called Luo He, nodded. As the hub of the Chu lineage, the Chu capital was one of the most prosperous cities on the Origin continent. Few cities could rival it. A large residence there was probably worth more than the entire Hundunjia district of Huyang City. I know you don't care about those things, Emperor Chu Yu smiled. What you care about are inheritances and resources. What we rogue cultivators lack most are inheritances and resources, Luo Feng said. Emperor Chu Yu continued, Luo He, since you have reached the primal chaos realm peak, you should be suited to a god-king level inheritance. In my Yanfeng ancient kingdom, however, we have the best inheritance on the Origin continent, and I believe we have an inheritance that fits you perfectly. With a more appropriate inheritance, I expect Luo He's strength will advance much further. Emperor Chu Yu felt a keen hope as well. If Luo He could advance, even not all the way to God King, but to the chaotic realm transcendence level, he would be a tremendous asset. I'm looking forward to it, Luo Feng said inwardly. The outside world assumed he had a God King level inheritance, since he was thought to be at the primal chaos realm peak. The truth was, he was poorer than anyone guessed. He lacked a proper Origin Great Path inheritance. The Lai Yuan art was beyond God King level, but it was a will secret art, not an Origin Great Path. What he needed were inheritances in the Great Tao of Life and the Great Path of Destruction. Once we return to the Marquis residence, I will immediately send Luo He to choose an inheritance and resources, Emperor Chu Yu said. Every guest elder receives a free exchange quota of 100,000 contribution points. It's a gift from the Chu lineage. For more inheritances and resources, guest elders must accumulate contribution points. The more points you have, the more you can exchange for. Even our most core, top-tier inheritances can be obtained this way if you have enough contribution points. Yanfeng Ancestor is generous to guest elders. Luo Feng had long understood this. Major factions like the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and the Thunder Ancient Country absorbed other forces across the Origin continent by making their most precious inheritances available, if one could pay the steep contribution cost. Don't worry, Emperor Chu Yu grinned. I'll arrange some easy tasks for Luo He to earn contribution points. Then I'll trouble you, Marquis Chu Yu, Luo Feng said. Emperor Chu Yu's mood remained bright. First-rank marquises competed fiercely for useful tasks to distribute. Usually they could only fully cultivate one Chaos Realm guest elder. Picking an ungrateful one would be infuriating. He'd watched Luo Feng in Huyang City and, convinced of his temperament, decided to invest heavily. Boom. The guard warships escorting Marquis Chu Yu's large vessel sailed toward the Marquis residence. On the upper floor of a stately building in the Chu capital, two figures sat opposite each other. One man, free-spirited, leaned on the railing with a wine gourd, gazing into the distance. His eyes pierced through the spatial veil to where Marquis Chu Yu's vessel approached. That newly promoted Marquis Chu Yu has returned to the Chu capital, he said. Marquis Chu Yu? A refined man with 3 eyes also looked that way. He has the infinite divine body and became a first-rank marquis the moment he broke through to the Chaos Realm. Another infinite divine body? The free-spirited man shook his head. Out of the 7 first-rank marquises, 5 are infinite divine bodies. I am not. Chu Feng, it's all the more remarkable that you, an ordinary divine body, have reached the primal Chaos Realm peak, the 3-eyed man said. The unrestrained man, Marquis Chu Feng, one of the 7 first-rank marquises of the Chu lineage, sipped wine and sighed. After cultivating for countless years, it's hard to advance. The chaotic realm transcendence and God King levels are both distant from me. Our ancestors' resources are limited. There used to be 6 first-rank marquises competing, now 7. Marquis Chu Yu is newly promoted. His strength and foundation are average. Early on, he shouldn't be able to contend with you, Chu Feng, the 3-eyed man observed. He has a helper named Luo He, who is at the primal chaos realm peak. Even in the early stages, Chu Feng narrowed his eyes. He'll compete with me. As a newly appointed marquis, he doesn't need to perform any tasks for the first 30 epochs, the three-eyed man added reluctantly. It's a protection from the emperors for new marquises. There's nothing we can do. Chu Feng set down his gourd. Enough about him. By the way, when will Prefect Yuanshu come to the Chu capital? Senior brother Yuanshu said he would come visit the God King, but no one knows when, the three-eyed man said. If you hear he's coming, tell me at once. He nodded. Among the Emperor Chu lineage's ranks, royal members, Emperor's disciples, Chaos Realm guest elders, and rogue Chaos Realm cultivators, only 11 had reached the Chaotic Realm transcendence level. Their standing was comparable to early God King beings. Prefect Yuanshu was one such Chaotic Realm transcendence. He cultivated a prison called the Dark Mansion within his divine body. With a single thought, he could imprison the surrounding boundless world inside, trapping enemies as well. Even an ancient God King would take time to escape if ensnared. For that reason, even early God King figures were cautious around him. The Chuyu Marquis residence, a first-rank Marcus manor, sprawled for about 1 billion kilometers. Chuyu's clansmen, guard army, and many servants had moved in. The Chu lineage had proliferated for countless years. Its numbers were immense. Many royal clansmen struggled for survival. Only the high-ranking relatives truly lived in luxury. Many of the Chuyu clansmen wish to pay respects to you, a dignified woman murmured. Shall we see them? Host a banquet for them tonight, Emperor Chuyu replied. Luo He and I have important matters. With that, he led Luo Feng away. Luo Feng offered an apologetic smile. Mother! The eldest son watched his father and the great Saint Luo. He leave and couldn't help himself. Father just returned. Many elders from our royal family and the Fengye clan came to see him, yet father treated them so coldly. Silence, the dignified woman snapped. You fool, your father's business with great Saint Luo. He is the most important matter for our residents. Oh. The eldest son fell silent. The second and third sons remained quiet too. Their mother favored the eldest, who was more headstrong, while the others were more cautious. The first guest elder chosen by our residents is this great Saint Luo He, whose origins are unknown, the woman said, frowning. My father is at the primal chaos realm peak and is the city lord of Fengye City. He wasn't even invited. She had been annoyed seeing the black-clothed man walking beside her husband during the welcome outside the city. She had hoped her husband and her father, the city lord of Fengye, would unite, but he had already made his choice without consulting her. Morosa and Qingyan, you two rest here. Chuyu and I are going out for a while, Luo Feng instructed. Morosa and Moyu Qingyan obeyed and stayed in a separate courtyard within the Marquis residence. Marquis Chuyu, Luo Feng, and a team of guards left the residence quietly in what looked like an ordinary flying boat. The inheritances and resources guest elders can choose from are all inside the Emperor Palace, Marquis Chuyu explained. Among our royal 13 bloodlines, the selectable inheritances are the same, left by the Yanfeng ancestor. But the resources you can pick differ. The resources our Chu lineage can offer are those bestowed by our ancestor. Luo Feng felt a thrill. Among the 13 emperors of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, the most famous was Di Qing. Di Qing had been unmatched. His 15 direct disciples included 6 god kings, 8 chaotic realm transcendents, and 1 primal chaos realm peak. The Di Qing lineage was the strongest of the 13. The other 12 were roughly comparable. Luo Feng was already grateful to be accepted into the Emperor Chu lineage. The Emperor Chu Palace is ahead, Marquis Chuyu said. Up close, Luo Feng suddenly realized what he'd missed from a distance, a vast palace that seemed merged with primordial darkness and chaos. From outside, it looked about the size of Huyang City, but Luo Feng could sense time and space folding. Its true interior was far larger. The Emperor Chu Palace is where most of my lineage's clansmen reside, Marquis Chuyu said as he led Luo Feng in. There were no ordinary guards along the way. The palace seemed empty. Most of the clansmen? Luo Feng glanced around at the silent halls. I don't see a single servant. The ancestor opened small universes inside the Emperor Palace, Marquis Chuyu said. Many useless clansmen were thrown into those small universes to cultivate and reproduce. The conditions inside are harsh. Those born there are weak. Many never become true gods in their lives. Luo Feng was surprised. He knew powerful cultivators sometimes opened small universes like Zuo Shanqi's Jinqi world to cultivate subordinates, but he hadn't expected the ancestor to use them as punishment. Those deemed useless were confined to a small universe for life. Clansmen and their descendants thrown into small universes can only leave if they cultivate to become an eternal true god, Marquis Chu Yu sighed. Those who make it out under such harsh conditions are highly valued. Luo Feng could only think how ruthless the ancestor had been toward royal descendants. Inside the deepest part of the palace, an ancient being felt every motion. He opened his eyes and looked once at Emperor Chu Yu and Luo Feng, then closed them again. Throwing 99% of the clansmen into small universes saved resources, reduced pressure on the emperors, and kept descendants from slacking. The practice had been begun by Emperor Xuan, one of the 13 emperors, and soon the others followed. The Emperor Chu Palace was vast and mysterious, a maze of warped time and space. Emperor Chu Yu led Luo Feng to a grand hall. "From now on, follow this route to the inheritance hall," he said. "Don't wander elsewhere. If you get lost, you might end up in forbidden areas." "I understand." Luo Feng wasn't interested in palace secrets. He only cared about inheritances and resources. The hall before him was ancient and simple, flanked by 2 sculpted guardians at the entrance. "Go in. I'll wait here," Marquis Chu Yu said. Luo Feng nodded and approached the doorway. As he neared, the guardian sculptures subtly turned their heads and fixed their gaze on him. A chill of mortal terror washed over Luo Feng. The strength radiating from the sculptures far surpassed his own. Even with his 5 transformation techniques, he felt inadequate to repel them. After a long look, the 2 guardian statues returned to their original poses and stared straight ahead again. Luo Feng took a steadying breath and stepped fully into the inheritance hall. Chapter 112: 2 Inheritances. When Luo Feng stepped into the Hall of Inheritance, it felt as if he had entered a separate realm, surrounded by a boundless chaos. A faint figure condensed into an old man who smiled at him. "Luo He, guest official," he said. "I am the artifact spirit of the Emperor Chu Palace. I will assist you in exchanging inheritance resources." "Thank you," Luo Feng replied politely. The old man continued, "Every new guest official receives a free exchange quota of 100,000 merit points. According to the hall's rules, the more merit points a guest official has, the more inheritances and resources they may view." Luo Feng's curiosity was piqued. "What can I view with this quota?" "With 100,000 merit points, you can view all inheritances and resources that require up to 1 million merit points to exchange," the spirit explained. "As your merit points grow, your viewable range expands proportionally. For example, if you reached 3 million merit points, you would be able to view all items worth up to 30 million. Luo Feng nodded. "Show me." The old spirit waved a hand. The surrounding chaos split into 2 panels, inheritance information on the left and resource listings on the right. "Left is arranged from highest to lowest by required merit points," the spirit said. "Right is the same for resources. You may take as long as you need. There is no time limit. Tell me when you have decided." Luo Feng first scanned the inheritances he cared about most. At the top were items requiring 1 million merit points. Karma Extinguishing Fire, Volume 1. An inheritance of the Karma Origin Great Tao that requires using Hunyuan power from outside the cage to cultivate. Its power far exceeds ordinary techniques at the same level. Hunyuan Space Remnant Array, 8 volumes, Volume 1. Incomplete records of an ancient array inheritance from outside the cage. It has an extremely high threshold, demanding vast comprehension of the great path of space origin and Hunyuan power. Song of the Earth, upper part, requires first exchanging for the Hunyuan material, Scales of the Earth, and mastering the great path of Earth origin. The supreme rule governing the cage world does not include the great path of Earth origin, so this is a risky choice. 3 Treasures Body, first layer, requires the Hunyuan material, Heart of 3 Treasures before cultivation and deep comprehension of the life origin great path. It places tremendous demands on mental will. Each inheritance entry was detailed, listed required Hunyuan materials and their prices, which branch of the origin great path to cultivate, the intensity of will needed, environment and auxiliary material requirements. The introductions urged careful selection. Luo Feng understood. In Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, inheritances that used Hunyuan power or Hunyuan materials were immensely potent, and their exchange costs reflected that. Even initial entry-level inheritances of this type could produce chaotic realm transcendence. If one reached God-King level with such techniques, they would stand far above peers who only used the cage's native power. The broader space outside the cage is where Hunyuan power flows. It was no wonder the outside world speculated that the ancestors of the two great ancient kingdoms had perhaps broken out of the cage. Yanfeng and the Thunder Ancient Country had never confirmed such rumors, but the evidence on display made the speculation natural. On the resources panel, the top items were just as eye-opening. Hunyuan Crystal. Purified Hunyuan power costs 1 million merit points. The chance to directly face the Great Path of Time Origin for one epoch, costing 900,000 merit points. The chance to directly face each of the other 8 Origin Great Paths within the Supreme Rule for one epoch, each costing 800,000 merit points. The complete corpse of a blood-armored insect, 800,000 merit points. A sword of God King level, 800,000 merit points. Shadowless Treasure Medicine. Consuming it allows one to become a favored child of the Boundless Origin Great Path for a duration related to soul strength, 800,000 merit points. The Hunyuan Material, Heart of Three Treasures, 800,000 merit points. Seeing this, Luo Feng sighed inwardly. Yanfeng Ancestor had placed these to entice the younger generation. The ability to directly face Origin Great Paths or to acquire Hunyuan materials and artifacts pushed guest officials to strive for merit points. Luo Feng himself could already permanently face the Life Origin Great Path, a huge advantage, but the prices for other resources were staggering. As he scanned down the lists and the required merits dropped, the inheritances and resources became more ordinary. Then, Luo Feng's gaze landed on the lowest-ranked inheritance. Heart Shadow Art, a God King-level inheritance, and the core technique of the Heart Shadow sect. Its inclusion by Yanfeng marked it as notable. Many ordinary God King-level inheritances were priced at 10,000 merit points, each with a certain brilliance. Luo Feng mentally filtered for life and soul lineage techniques and for destruction or cutting and splitting lineage techniques he needed. There were 9 God King-level inheritances of the life and soul lineage, ranging from 10,000 up to 100,000 merit points. One in particular caught his eye. 8 Tribulation Lifeform, First Tribulation, requires 100,000 merit points. It first demands perfecting the 3 lineages of life and soul, source of life, and body of life. Only after all 3 are perfected can cultivation toward the First Tribulation begin. The difficulty is extreme. Master the First Tribulation, and every part of your power contains consciousness, enabling the easy creation of clones. Your body becomes like a vast world, immense strength, unshakable, and with endless vitality. Clones, endless vitality, a body like a world, these details fascinated Luo Feng. Among ancient god kings, those who could create clones were exceedingly rare. An inheritance that cultivated clones was even rarer. The introduction also noted that although the direct combat strength after mastering the First Tribulation was only slightly stronger than a typical God King First Realm expert, the self-preservation was far more terrifying. Each clone and the body itself would be harder to destroy than many God King Second Realm experts. Luo Feng reflected on God King tiers. God Kings can be divided into 3 realms. Most of the ancient God Kings on this origin continent still dwelt in the God King First Realm. That doesn't make them weak, he thought. It depends on the path and the technique cultivated. The Great Tao of Life emphasized self-preservation and longevity, a technique that perfected multiple life-related lineages and then cultivated tribulations could yield a body and clones with near-world-like resilience. No wonder Snow Realm Ancestor had been so difficult to kill. He must have mastered similarly profound life origin inheritances. Beyond the First Tribulation lay the Second and Third Tribulations, and the creator of such an inheritance would need an exceptionally high realm and an unshakable foundation. Opposite these life techniques, Luo Feng also examined the destruction lineage offerings. In Yanfeng, the cutting and splitting lineage of the Great Path of Destruction was called the Sky-Splitting lineage, aimed at cleaving the cage itself. The sky-splitting offerings ranged from tens of thousands of merit points upward. None would instantly break the cage, but they could grow into terrifying offensive might. One saber inheritance drew him in. Secret Technique of Cutting 72 Slashes, Volume 1, priced at 90,000 merit points. Perfecting the Sky-Splitting lineage offered a chance to learn the Sky-Splitting Saber Art 3 forms, which could carve rifts in the cage membrane. Perfecting the Dark Sky lineage offered the Dark Sky Saber Art 3 forms with terrifying power. Combine both, and there was a chance to master the first 3 slashes of cutting, a devastating offensive style that could cross realms. Luo Feng liked its pure offense. His life Tao cultivation already granted strong self-preservation. What he lacked was overwhelming offensive power. The saber art, entirely offensive, would fill that gap. It was disappointing, then, that he could afford only one exchange with his current quota. There were tempting resources, too. He could view the image of a calamity beast from the robbery beast diagram, once for 100,000 merit points, for example. He grinned at his own poverty. He really couldn't afford most of it. After weighing everything, Luo Feng made a choice. His deepest accumulation and most mature groundwork lay in the life and soul lineage. His transformation techniques were core to his strength. The 8 Tribulation life form, First Tribulation, perfectly matched that foundation, and, despite its high difficulty, offered the most suitable long-term benefit within his 100,000-point limit. He decided to exchange his whole quota for it. As for the secret technique of cutting 72 slashes, he would wait and save merit points. His Breaking World 9 Blades technique still needed polishing, and the saber art would come later. The artifact spirit had been patiently waiting as guest officials studied the listings. This was common. It paused briefly, surprised when Luo Feng declared, "I'll exchange my 100,000 merit points for the first tribulation of 8 Tribulation life form." "Luo He guest official, are you sure you want to spend your entire 100,000 merit points on this single inheritance?" the spirit asked. "Yes," Luo Feng replied. He had long wanted a detailed life origin inheritance. This one contained 3 life lineages and a profound foundation, undoubtedly stronger than the inheritances of his master Zuo Shanka's lineage or Duandong He's lineage. No wonder everyone sought to become a guest official of the 2 great ancient kingdoms. End of this chapter. Chapter 113. All power belongs to oneself. Guest official Luo He, prepare yourself. The artifact spirit elder smiled faintly and then vanished into thin air. At the same moment, all the vast repositories of inheritance data and resources in the chaos space disappeared, leaving only a hazy radiance around Luo Feng. That glow streamed the immense information of the first tribulation of the 8 Tribulation life form into him. Data poured into Luo Feng's memory without pause. Even with the strength of his soul, it took him a long time to fully commit it to memory. He had read many introductions to inheritances before and considered himself well informed, but nothing had prepared him for the shock of truly receiving one. For the first time, he felt how overwhelmingly powerful a genuine expert could be. "I once confronted the life origin great path directly," he thought. It felt like the embodiment of life itself, supreme and mighty. But even that impression paled when he glimpsed the first tribulation of the 8 Tribulation life form. This creator is far beyond the complete life origin great path. This being had casually drawn on branches of the life origin great path to craft secret techniques from the humble to the sublime. By combining those techniques, it had produced the first tribulation. The process was like turning decay into wonder. The revelation here shocked Luo Feng more than the life origin great path had. No wonder a world beast that has reached its peak only ranks in a first-rate Tianmu country and dares not provoke the 2 great ancient kingdoms. The more Luo Feng understood, the more immense the world seemed. Buzz. As soon as he finished receiving the inheritance, still reeling, he was teleported out of the inheritance hall and appeared at its entrance. Luo He. Marquise Chuyu greeted him as he emerged. Luo Feng didn't waste time. "Chuyu, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. It's early yet." The Marquis smiled. "Oh, Your cave dwelling, attendance, and all arrangements as a guest official have been made by our Chu lineage. He added, your disciples and servants have already gone ahead to the cave dwelling. Luo Feng was surprised. He had only just submitted his application upon entering the city, and now everything was arranged. The efficiency astounded him. Come, I'll show you. Marquis Chu Yu led him away. In the west city of Chu capital, the Marquis brought Luo Feng to an elegant cave dwelling. The district was quiet and expansive. Vast residences occupied huge tracts of land. Those who lived here were either high-ranking royals or Chaos realm beings like Luo Feng. This is your cave dwelling, Marquis Chu Yu explained. Luo Feng had received the guest official token. With it came control of the residence. From now on, this cave dwelling belongs permanently to Luo He. The Marquis smiled. Molos, master. Morosa, sensing their arrival, had come to the entrance with Mo Yu Qingyan and 10 attendants to greet them. Luo Feng and Marquis Chu Yu entered together. As befit a Chaos realm guest official's house, the dwelling spanned hundreds of millions of kilometers. The residence's formation was powerful enough to borrow a trace of the entire Chu capital's might to guarantee safety. For a Chaos realm being such a vast area was not excessive. Even training secret techniques required hiding in spatial treasures. Luo Feng, whose divine body could be cosmic in scale, could not freely display his full form in public. The formation can actually borrow a sliver of Chu capital's power, Luo Feng said inwardly as he took control of the dwelling. He could feel that mobilized power, vast and imposing enough to crush him if it wished. Chu capital was refined by the ancestor of our Yanfeng ancient kingdom, Marquis Chu Yu said with a hint of pride. Luo Feng had another matter on his mind. Chu Yu, I need your help. Luo He, no need to be so formal, the Marquis replied. Now he had only one guest official, the most important aid to his cultivation path. Tell me. I have a relative serving as a deputy general in the city guard of Yinju City in Beiju Chao State, Luo Feng said. Why is he stationed at such a dangerous frontier? Marquis Chu Yu frowned. So I want to bring him to Chu capital. Discreetly. Luo Feng explained. Marquis Chu Yu considered it. Since he's your relative, we shouldn't transfer him openly. The other first-rank marquises are watching me. An open move would be troublesome. I'll send a team of personal guards to Yinju City under my token, Chu Yu decided. They'll bring him back directly. As a first-rank Marquis, I have authority to recruit personal troops, even a small deputy general. In that case, let Morosa go with them, Luo Feng said. He worried about accidents. If he, a peak Chaos realm guest official, appeared personally, it would raise suspicion. Sending a servant who could plausibly be an eternal true god would be inconspicuous. Only Morosa will know your relative's identity, Luo Feng added. Keep it secret. Once they're in Yinju City, Morosa will lead our guards with my token to retrieve the deputy general. Marquis Chu Yu confirmed. All covered. Chu Yu, you've thought of everything. Luo Feng was relieved. You don't know how fierce the internal competition in the royal family is, the Marquis said dryly. Among first-rank marquises, we dare not kill each other openly, but our guest officials and subordinates are at risk all the time. Luo Feng understood. In cultivation, everything was contested. He was in the game and not afraid. Risk and reward went together. The newly acquired first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form alone would profoundly transform him. Morosa, Luo Feng sent the mental message. Lead Marquis Chu Yu's personal guard team to Yinju City in Beiju Chao State. Bring Origin Ancestor back. Bring Origin Ancestor? Morosa knew the bond between Luo Feng and Origin Ancestor. Among the humans who had reincarnated to the Origin continent, only Luo Feng and Origin Ancestor shared that deep, almost familial tie. Origin Ancestor was like a grand teacher to Luo Feng. Aside from you, only I know Origin Ancestor's identity, Luo Feng reminded him. This trip must be completely secret. Don't worry, Master, Morosa replied. If anything happens, if Origin Ancestor's life is endangered, you are permitted to reveal your Chaos Realm strength, Luo Feng said. Do whatever it takes to guarantee his safety. Understood. I'll place him in a spatial treasure and won't reveal my strength unless absolutely necessary. Morosa was cautious. He wanted Luo Feng to grow stronger before making any conspicuous moves. That day, Morosa led Marquis Chu Yu's guards aboard a small flying vessel and slipped out of Chu capital. The vessel cut through the void at high speed, but it still took 5 days to reach Beiju Chao's state. After informing Origin Ancestor, Luo Feng entered seclusion to cultivate that night. In his quiet room stood a star tower. Within its interior space, Luo Feng began to comprehend the newly acquired first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form. I was ignorant before, he admitted to himself. This inheritance revealed the true face of the cage world and hinted at realities beyond it. He felt like the first human to look up at the stars. Only by looking upward could one grasp how vast everything was. The region governed by the supreme rule, the origin continent, and the 3,000 surrounding primordial universes are all part of the cage world, he thought. Everything in my world is shaped by the supreme rule. The gestation of life, reincarnation, rebirth, small universes, lifespan, the flow of time, the stability of space, the levels of divine body, everything. The level of divine body at the moment one becomes a true god determined one's entire future. If one attained an infinite divine body upon becoming a true god, one would remain infinite as a void true god, eternal true god, chaos realm being, or divine king. If one became a perfect divine body at that stage, that status followed through as well. The infinite divine body can change size at will, he mused. My perfect divine body is larger and its divine power purer. It also possesses formless and faceless. For a moment he wondered if those abilities were personal insights he had comprehended. The inheritance made it clear. No, these were bestowed by the Supreme Rule. The Supreme Rule sets the maximum size of your divine body, grants the formless and faceless ability, and dictates that cultivators' small universes appear as stars in the sky. Everything was rule. Formless and faceless wasn't solely his own comprehension, it was a grant by the Supreme Rule. According to the 8 tribulation life form, truly powerful cultivators initially live within the cage, drawing knowledge from it. Afterward, they must break through the cage. All great power ultimately returns to oneself. Only an existence that breaks through the cage can claim all power, Luo Feng reflected. Not power bestowed by the Supreme Rule, but power derived from personally mastering the Great Path. Even the Great Path itself must be pioneered by oneself. He had once been proud of his perfect divine body and abilities like formless and faceless. Now, after seeing this inheritance, he realized that cultivators within the cage had not truly broken free. Cages came in 2 forms, the world cage, whose walls protect all living beings, and the cage of the Supreme Rule. One must shatter every cage and walk the path of all great power, returning to oneself to pursue the true great path. If the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form is already this extraordinary, he thought, what must other costly inheritances be like? The lords of Yu and Shi countries, also guest officials of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, could surely exchange for powerful inheritances. Yet possession was one thing, cultivating them to fruition was another. He felt humility grow. Helping his teacher take revenge would not be easy. He had also seen terrifying methods that used Hunyuan power and primordial materials. Compared to the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form and some ancient divine kings, his own self-preservation was lacking. His teacher Zuo Shankei's escape from the 3 lords of Shi country proved his methods were exceptional. Luo Feng stopped brooding and began to cultivate the inheritance with all his concentration. Chapter 114, Meeting with the Original Ancestor. In the northern reaches of the Yanfeng ancient kingdom, in Beiju Chao State, stood Yinju City. As a third-rank metropolis, it rivaled Huyang City in scale and far outmatched the fringe kingdom's settlements. Its defenses and garrison alone could sweep across Zhujiang Chao State and Luyin Chao State. On an upper floor of a modest restaurant, Origin Ancestor sat drinking by himself, watching the city below. He had taken leave from his post as a vice-general of the city guard. The guard maintained shift rotations. Sometimes closed-door cultivation demanded long stretches of absence, and the other vice-general had agreed to shoulder the duties while he was away. A young attendant set out some delicacies before him with a deep bow. An eternal true god and a city guard vice-general were beyond the usual clientele of such places. Origin Ancestor ate and waited. A sudden roar of power rolled through the city. Origin Ancestor looked up to see a young man riding a sinuous, serpent-like exotic beast sweeping through the air over Yinju City. Guards followed behind on flying boats. Origin Ancestor recognized him at a glance. It was General Yu, the town defender's second son, the most reckless, ostentatious presence in the city. The town defender himself was a Chaos Realm guest official charged with protecting the frontier. His eldest son studied under a god king. His second son stayed by his side. That's a Chaos Realm exotic beast, bound by a secret method, Origin Ancestor murmured. The town defender paid a heavy price to secure it from a god king for his son, both mount and bodyguard. Every eternal true god in the city envied the sight. Which among them wouldn't covet such a mount? Who would dare provoke this young man with that creature at his back and all the protective treasures he possessed? He's come out of seclusion? The young rider shouted as he urged the beast on. The master has only just come out, the serpent answered through telepathy, obedient and subdued, its original ferocity quelled by binding. That submission reassured the town defender enough to let it guard his son. I want father to see my prey, Uncle Han. Hurry, the young man urged. The beast accelerated twice and landed at the town defender's mansion while onlookers seethed with envy and gossip. Not long after General Yu's display, Morosa arrived at the restaurant with a few guards, his aura tamed but unmistakably Chaos Realm. The place had been the meeting point Luo Feng and Origin Ancestor had prearranged. Origin Ancestor? Morosa announced, identifying him immediately. The guards Morosa had brought, personal retainers of Marquis Chuyu, were told to wait outside. They had no idea of the destination. They only obeyed the servant of the guest official. Morosa stepped inside. Origin Ancestor rose when the simple, honest-faced man entered. Luo Feng had already given him a description. He recognized Morosa instantly. Vice General Yuan? Morosa smiled and bowed slightly. He spoke with the humility of a servant, yet carried the certainty of his master's authority. I have come on behalf of my master, Luo He. Origin Ancestor returned the smile. We leave Yinju City now? Morosa nodded. Not publicly with the city guard, he said. Less fuss the better. The handover will be arranged properly. Morosa had planned the operation meticulously. He hadn't let even his own guards know the final route. The feud among the 7 first-rank marquises of the Emperor Chu lineage was fierce. Any caution could be the difference between safety and disaster. As long as they could return to Luo Feng's cave mansion intact, everything would be settled. Vice General Yuan will need to reside temporarily in a spatial treasure, Morosa added. Luo He had mentioned it already, Origin Ancestor thought. He stood, and Morosa waved his hand. A small spatial treasure unfolded, and Origin Ancestor stepped inside. Morosa rejoined his guards and signaled them to depart. They obeyed, carrying with them a first-rank Marquise order to deal with any obstruction. No one noticed their leaving. Down at the city guard headquarters, an alarm was raised when Vice General Yuan's identity token could not be tracked. Because the guards could normally locate all members, its disappearance was reported at once. The town defender, still with his second son, frowned when a message arrived. Marquis Chuyu of the Imperial family had applied for a transfer order, transferring City Guard Vice General Yuan. A first-rank Marquis applying for a transfer just to move a small vice general? He muttered. He had no right to obstruct an Imperial family order. Yanfeng's central power ran everything, even task distribution. But he suspected there was more to Yuan's identity than met the eye. Marquis Chuyu must be wary, he might derail the plan. By the time the other first-rank marquises learned of the transfer, Vice General Yuan was already gone. 5 days later, Morosa had returned quietly to Luo Feng's cave mansion in Chu capital, bringing Origin Ancestor with him. Luo Feng had come out of seclusion to receive them and immediately recognized the gray-robed eternal true god walking beside Morosa. Yuan, Luo Feng greeted, smiling. They had already agreed on how to address one another. Origin Ancestor's title carried weight, but his personal name was fine between them. Luo He, Origin Ancestor replied and bowed. Morosa reported briefly and then left to rest, knowing his master and Origin Ancestor needed privacy. Luo Feng led Origin Ancestor into a quiet room and down into the Star Tower, the layered spatial archive within his residence. He gestured at the contents stacked and shelved to infinity: legacy texts, hoarded heavenly treasures, refined medicinal pills, weapons, and secret artifacts. These came from the Heart Shadow sect, Luo Feng explained. They cultivated elite disciples and hoarded many items useful to Chaos Realm cultivators. For eternal true gods, there are treasures here that can aid cultivation. Origin Ancestor stared at the piles. God King texts were rare, but the Chaos Realm materials were plentiful. He had spent years in Yinju City, quietly earning merits to exchange for a legacy. Now a mountain of them lay before him. He had once owned only a fraction of what was here. His personal holdings amounted to less than 100,000 cosmic sand. These treasures were worth billions. Choose whatever you need, Luo Feng said, but plan carefully. Many of our human descendants will come here in the future. These resources must be used wisely. Origin Ancestor's heart beat faster. To thoroughly digest the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form and perfect a transformation method could open new paths of advancement. He was no longer just an ordinary eternal true god. Opportunities sprawled ahead. You can cultivate here as long as you like, Luo Feng added. Just tell me when you want to leave. Origin. Ancestor nodded, filled with determination. Luo Feng smiled and slipped back into his own lair of the Star Tower to continue his studies. He had recently been delving into the life spirituality chapter within the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form. He had already learned some applications of life spirituality through studying Chaos Layer creatures, but this chapter recorded the lineage's deepest secrets and application techniques. Instead of rushing to perfect his transformation method outright, Luo Feng planned to amass knowledge steadily and lay a firm foundation first. Chapter 115. Task Luo Feng was absorbed in the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form technique, so immersed that he lost track of time. Even though he had a rare chance to confront the complete life origin great path, he knew that seeing something and truly understanding it were worlds apart. The eternal true gods who stood beside the chaos ruins could witness materialized chaos laws, but how many of them actually comprehended those laws? Very few. All across the origin continent, there were ancient beings who faced complete origin great paths and had inheritances and resources to help them, yet most never fully understood those paths in their lifetimes. An inheritance makes comprehension easier, he thought as he read. All life has spirituality. Those with strong spirituality hold infinite possibilities. If you master the lineage of life spirituality, you can even enlighten life itself. Rocks, weeds, weapons, rivers, anything could be awakened and become true life. The inheritance described staggering possibilities. An enormous city could be enlightened if someone mastered the complete life origin great path and integrated the city's life structure with spirituality. Vast rivers, towering mountains, even powerful corpses could all be turned into sentient life. Those who mastered the life origin great path could enlighten many beings. In rare cases, an enlightened being could immediately possess God-King level power. Luo Feng was stunned. Every complete origin great path held inconceivable methods. Morosa, for example, as a world beast, had mastered the complete destruction origin great path and could spawn subordinate beings from the world inside him, some even reaching God-King strength. But generating such strong subordinates was incredibly difficult. For those born or created with God-King power by external means, comprehension was shallow. Natural God-Kings had been selected over long years and accumulated experience. Created God-Kings had no such accumulation, so their chances of truly advancing were nearly zero. My transformation technique is based on Chaos Layer creatures as prototypes, Luo Feng mused. According to the inheritance, the stronger a life's spirituality, the more extraordinary it becomes. The Chaos Layer forms I can summon aren't necessarily their ultimate forms. I can try to raise their life spirituality. The first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form didn't include a recorded transformation technique. That ability was special, bestowed after he gained a perfect divine body and granted by the supreme rule. With his formless and faceless ability, he could better probe the link between a life body and life spirituality. The life origin great path had 6 major branches, each deeply interconnected. To raise a life form's spirituality, there was an upper limit unless the life form's life structure changed, and the life structure depended on its life body lineage. While he was thinking, a message came. Luo He. When in seclusion, Luo Feng had cut off most contact. Only Marquis Chu Yu, an origin ancestor, could reach him, and Morosa could contact him telepathically. Luo He, you checked the guest elder missions with your token, right? Marquis Chu Yu asked. None of them are appealing. Either guarding a border city for 10,000 epochs or dealing with a mess with the Thunder Ancient Country, Luo Feng replied. He had just received the inheritance and wanted time to grow. He had no desire to get involved in Chaos Realm-level conflicts, especially with the Thunder Ancient Country, whose chaotic realm transcendence cultivated Hunyuan power and used unpredictable methods. Haha, the best missions are taken first by us 7 first-rank marquises. Only the missions nobody wants show up on the guest elder tokens. Marquis Chu Yu laughed. But I found a good one. If you don't object, I'll assign it to you. You just need to accept it. What is it? Luo Feng asked. Serve as a town defender in Chu Capital. Marquis Chu Yu explained. Chu Capital has 3 town defender positions, all served by Chaos Realm guest elders. Chu Capital has its own army. Minor problems the armies handle. Major problems see God Kings intervening. A Chaos Realm town defender seldom needs to act. The merit reward is much higher than guarding the frontier. 1 epoch gives 1,000 merits. You can hold the post for up to 100 epochs before being replaced. 100 epochs equals 100,000 merits. That's a huge haul, and everyone wants it, Marquis Chu Yu said. Luo Feng understood. Guarding a border city for 10,000 epochs also awarded 100,000 merits, but it was far longer and more dangerous. Chu Capital's post was shorter and safer. No wonder it was coveted. Is there a residency requirement? He asked. To serve, you must reside in Chu Capital. If you need to leave for an event, you can't be away more than 1,000 days in 1 epoch. If you don't object, I'll assign it to you. Thank you, Brother Chu Yu, Luo Feng replied and accepted without hesitation. He'd only recently reached the Chaos Realm and wanted to stay out of danger. When he reached a cultivation bottleneck and needed merit to buy inheritance resources, he could take greater risks then. Soon his guest elder token received the assignment specifically for Luo He. He accepted. Time passed. Luo Feng had been posted in the Chu capital of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom for half an epoch. As town defender, he had only been ordered out once to apprehend a group of warring royal descendants. Those descendants were eternal true gods, powerful and wealthy. Had they gone fully insane, a Chaos Realm guest elder would need to step in. Otherwise, in Chu capital, the imperial armies and god kings kept order. One afternoon, under a cloud pavilion in Chu capital, Luo Feng and Origin Ancestor sat across from each other. This wine is remarkable, Origin Ancestor said, surprised. It seems to nourish both the divine body and the soul. It's 100 variant wine, Luo Feng answered with a smile. They say it's made from the blood of over 100 Chaos Realm exotic beasts and mixed with rare heavenly treasures. This pot alone costs 100 cosmic sand. Origin Ancestor was astonished. Even ordinary eternal true gods, if they spent all their wealth, couldn't drink like this for long. The blood of over 100 Chaos Realm exotic beasts, he echoed. It's not so costly here. Chu capital imprisons many Chaos Realm exotic beasts. Ordinary blood is nothing to them. They naturally recover by absorbing the power of heaven and earth. For merchants, the actual cost is low. This pot lists as 100 cosmic sand, but the real cost is probably 1 or 2. 60 cosmic sand from each pot is fixed to go to the first-rank Marquis, the Marquis of Chu Ying. Origin Ancestor nodded. He already knew each first-rank Marquis of the Emperor Chu line held great sway. Luo Feng was aligned with the first-rank Marquis, Marquis Chu Yu. Brother Chu Yu hasn't been a first-rank Marquis long, Luo Feng said. He's behind the others in many ways, but with 7 equal positions, he'll grow. A message arrived. Luo He. There's a mission, but it requires leaving the city, Marquis Chu Yu said. Oh? What mission? Luo Feng asked. He couldn't be away more than 1,000 days in 1 epoch, so a short mission would be fine. I'll send you the details. I think with your strength you can finish it in a few days. Completing it yields 10,000 merits. I just found it and claim it. See if you want to accept. The mission details arrived. In the Qingchong Chao state of the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, an ordinary settlement named Tianq City had been built to mine Tianq stone essence. In recent chaos epochs, output had plummeted and many miners had died. dozens of eternal true gods among them. The suspicion was that a Chaos Realm being was secretly mining the Tianku Stone essence. The mission: investigate the identity of the secret miner and report it, with a reward of 10,000 merits. Capturing the secret miner alive would yield an extra 5,000 merits. Investigate the identity, Luo Feng repeated, nodding. For the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, identifying suspects was the key. Once known, capture became straightforward. He understood how vital Tianku Stone essence was, an extraordinarily important cultivation resource, almost exclusively used by god kings. The Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and the Thunder Ancient Country sat at the center of the origin continent, more exotic beasts, cultivators, and treasures than elsewhere. "I'll take the mission," Luo Feng told Marquis Chu Yu. A short mission, giving over 10,000 merits, was a rare opportunity. "I'll send all the intelligence I have," Marquis Chu Yu replied. While they spoke, Luo Feng asked, "Brother Chu Yu, can you find some Chaos Layer creatures with Chaos Realm strength for me? If you mean exotic beasts, there are many in the world, and the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom has captured many Chaos Realm beasts. Buying a few isn't hard, but Chaos Layer creatures born with Chaos Realm strength are extremely rare, no more than 10 in the entire Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, and almost all are held by god kings," Marquis Chu Yu said, frowning. "I don't need whole creatures, just some bodily materials," Luo Feng said. "Only bodily materials?" Marquis Chu Yu relaxed. "Then I can try, but it will take time. I don't even know which god kings have them. This is important to me. Please help, Brother Chu Yu," Luo Feng said. Marquis Chu Yu felt a surge of purpose. His most valuable ally had an urgent need. "Don't worry, I'll get you some bodily materials." "Thank you," Luo Feng said, not mentioning payment. For a first-rank Marquis, even billions of cosmic sand were trivial. What he repaid was a favor. For materials from Chaos Layer creatures born with Chaos Realm strength, owing a favor was worth it. That same day, Luo Feng left Chu capital and headed to Qingchong Chao State to investigate the secret miner in Tianku City. Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, Qingchong Chao State, outside the Tianku mining area near Tianku City. A thread of light cut across the distant void and solidified into a figure, Luo Feng, who had rushed over from Chu capital. He cultivated 5 transformation methods. The Silver River transformation method excelled in long-range control and sealing. The other 4 were integrated into his body and favored close combat. The light that had crossed the void was the Taoist Journey transformation method, a spatial traversal art. It was incredibly fast and superb for both pursuit and escape, and after the 10 directions, 8 billion drop merged into it, its spatial capabilities had leapt ahead. Now, with his life and spirituality advanced, its power was far greater than before. It only took a little over an hour to get here from Chu capital, Luo Feng thought, pleased. He surveyed the Tianku mining area ahead. This place is enormous, far larger than Huyang City, and it's wrapped in a formation, so illegal mining would be hard to conceal. He had learned the mission details from Emperor Chu Yu and knew why it had been troublesome. The Tianku mining area's chief administrator was also the town defender of Tianku City, a peak chaotic realm existence, and even he hadn't been able to root out the illegal miner. In Emperor Chu Yu's view, no transcendent of note would shamelessly steal small amounts of Tianku stone essence, so Luo Feng's investigation should be safe. He already had a plan. Standing in the wilderness beyond the mining area, countless silver streams emanated from his body and sank into the earth. They grew so fine that ordinary true gods could not perceive them. Innumerable filaments spread quickly, boring deep beneath the surface and encircling the entire Tianku mining area. The mining area is about 800 billion kilometers across. My Silver River can easily cover that, Luo Feng murmured, satisfied. He poured out 1 billion units of Silver River. The threads wove together into a net that completely surrounded and sealed the mining area. From this vantage, he could sense why the formation had been set up. Beyond sealing and surveillance, it guided heaven and earth power to converge, accelerating the formation of Tianku stone essence. Under the formation's pull, vast flows of ambient power were being gathered. Slipping into the tunnels like a breeze by means of his transformation method, Luo Feng naturally attached himself to a miner traveling between Tianku City and the pits. The depths of the mining area were pitch black and unfathomably deep. Feng Yu 7, I heard everyone who went in last time died, one miner said nervously as their group advanced. Recent epochs had been dangerous, even eternal true gods had fallen. We're nothing if we resist. I hope we get lucky this shift, another replied. They descended under the ever-present will of the formation and could not afford to be careless. Arrived at Fengyo 7. Start, the captain ordered. Fengyu 7 lay far below, more than 300 billion kilometers from the surface. The miners lit the ancient tunnels with secret spells and began to blast and grind rock with treasure tools, sifting for the microscopic particles of Tiank stone essence. Even true gods had to examine carefully. Many shifts' worth of work might refine into only 1 or 2 standard blocks. The Tianku stone essence is getting scarcer. The higher-ups keep complaining, someone muttered. Maybe someone's been illegally mining it already, another guessed. They kept crushing and sifting. Unseen by them, a vast phantom crept through the ore, sifting out particles with unnatural efficiency. The miners' finds were always handed over. The amounts were never large enough to tempt a transcendent openly, so whatever or whoever was stealing had to do it painstakingly and covertly. With its method, it still mined faster than the mortals. Boom! The captain detonated charges, blasting through a massive rock to open a cavity for the crew to work. Rockfall was dangerous if done poorly. He had to be precise. As the debris cascaded, the miners glimpsed something massive and indistinct. Then alarm spread among them. Not good, the captain shouted. Miners' faces blanched. Call for help! The phantom, annoyed at being discovered, erupted power and swept toward the group. The miners panicked and activated their comms. Suddenly, a black-clothed man appeared from thin air. His robe liquefied into countless black flows that drilled into the stone and engulfed the phantom, smothering it. How audacious, illegally mining here, Luo Feng said as he watched from within the net. He had worried the illegal miner might only strike rarely and be hard to catch, but mining Tiank's stone essence took time. The odds of encountering it during the act were decent. The captured phantom tried to vanish. Luo Feng's silver threads, already forming an encircling net, immediately flared. The silver river manifested into a colossal silver cage, its terrifying energy sealing the entire Tianku mining area. Waves of fluctuation attempted to flee through the void, but the net held fast. Luo Feng poured another 2 billion units into the net, tightening it until escape seemed impossible. Break! The phantom sent out desperate fluctuations that crashed against the countless silver filaments above and below. But since surviving the first tribulation of the 8 tribulation life form, Luo Feng's 5 transformation methods, life and spirituality, had all strengthened. His net could not be broken by that force. The silver threads wrapped around the waves of fluctuation one by one. Each enveloped fluctuation dissolved until a single one remained. Luo Feng stepped into the open and stared down at the last remnant. The final fluctuation condensed into a gray-furred beast that bowed submissively. Mercy! Mercy! It pleaded. Greetings, great saint of chaos. Luo Feng assessed it. It was a chaotic realm beast. Beasts that didn't comprehend the essence of laws were typically much weaker than chaotic cultivators. He judged it to be at ordinary chaotic realm level. A single current of his silver river could seal it without difficulty. You dare illegally mine Tianku stone essence, he said. The beast made a strange noise and suddenly spoke in a strange, pleading voice. Luo He guest official. This one I raised is greedy and ate some Tianku stone essence. Please don't take offense. Luo Feng's expression shifted. The voice urged. I will have him leave immediately. You can pretend you never caught the illegal miner. How about it? I was ordered to investigate illegal mining, Luo Feng answered firmly. Now that the culprit's identity has been confirmed, I must report it. There was a pause, then the strange voice asked softly, Must you be my enemy? Luo Feng felt a headache beginning to pulse at his temples. On the Origin continent, in the Great Extreme Ice Field, there was a territory called the Great Black Realm. For countless years it had been cloaked under a vast layer of black clouds, stretching nearly as far as whole second-rate nations like Yu country or Shi country. Deep inside that black cloud, a winged figure hovered unseen. This Luo He is brazen. He must have guessed there's a god king behind the exotic beast, yet he still had no respect, the winged figure thought. He had been following Marquise Chuyu, recently promoted to first-rank Marquis of the Emperor Chu lineage and watched events unfold. The rivalry among the Marquises was fierce. It would not be long before Luo He found himself in trouble. I'll act when the time is right. The winged figure had lived millennia and had grown cautious. Those who reached the peak of the Chaos Realm and reincarnated with full memories were not to be trifled with. Even he did not want to invite a great enmity lightly. At critical moments, however, a little secret provocation could push powerful people to desperation. This exotic beast was secretly enslaved by me and never shown publicly, he mused. This time its identity was exposed, but I used methods to conceal the karma. Only a handful on the origin continent could trace it back to me. Di Qing of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom and the current Emperor Tian are both skilled at tracing karma. They could uncover my identity. But the Tianku ore vein involved lies in territory controlled by the Emperor Chu lineage. Di Chu wouldn't go so far as to ask Di Qing or the Emperor's consort for help over a petty theft. Long ago, the winged figure had been a guest official of Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom at the Chaos Realm level. Back then, he had been a chaotic realm transcendence level existence. He later became a god king, his power deepened, and he left Yanfeng. Many god kings set up their own domains, convinced of their invulnerability. Zuo Shanqi had once believed the same. He had not expected the 10 country lords to be so ruthless. Yanfeng and Thunder occupy the core of the origin continent. They monopolize most treasures. What harm if I take a little? These treasures were born of heaven and earth anyway, he told himself. The other exotic beasts he had enslaved had not yet been exposed. The winged figure melted back into the boundless black cloud. This endless layer was its true body. The great black realm hid countless cultivators and exotic beasts. Whenever a Chaos Realm exotic beast appeared, he quietly enslaved it and sent it to the 2 great ancient kingdoms to steal rare treasures. In Chu capital, at Marquis Chu Yu's mansion, Chu Yu and Luo Feng reported the mission in full. Marquis Chu Yu listened, frowning. This Chaos Realm exotic beast had never been recorded in their intelligence. It must have been captured and enslaved soon after its birth. Its true master was unknown. Those who dispatch exotic beasts to steal rare treasures in Yanfeng are either powerful enough to resist investigation by my Emperor Chu lineage, or they're influential within our imperial family, Marquis Chu Yu said. He knew most thieves of treasures were marquises within the imperial clan. The competition among marquises is fierce. If they can't get resources fairly, they get crooked ideas. If you can trace who ordered this, your mission will already be a success. For the rest, whether the beast's master is an imperial marquise or some ancient existence, you shouldn't interfere. Luo Feng nodded. When the exotic beast died, there were no weapons or secret treasures, only some Tianku stone scriptures. He waved his hand and produced several half-human tall Tianku stone scriptures and a pile of fragments, 23 complete pieces, and a number of scraps. It looks like the beast regularly handed some of its stolen Tianku scriptures over to its master. Marquis Chu Yu glanced at the scriptures. Keep them. The spoils are yours. Luo Feng stored them away. The merits earned from Yanfeng were immense, and cosmic sand could not be exchanged for merits. According to Luo Feng's understanding, a complete Tianku stone scripture could be exchanged for 1,000 merits. Buying one would cost nearly 300 million cosmic sand. The price fluctuated because scripture sales were rare. By the way, I've done a preliminary check on the perfect level chaos layer biological materials you need, Marquis Chu Yu said. Yanfeng should have 7 of them. 6 are in the hands of god kings, and 1 is held by Empress Wu. Empress Wu comes from the 5th lineage and is on poor terms with our Emperor Chu lineage. Getting that will be difficult and time-consuming. Luo Feng understood the difficulty. The first section of the 8 Tribulation Lifeform had no recorded transformation method. He had to refine it himself. He had made progress in life spirituality, but the chaos layer creatures he captured had simplistic life structures and low upper limits. Deducing deeper life structures from those was exceedingly hard. He naturally hoped to obtain more perfect chaos layer specimens. If it can't be gotten, then so be it. Don't force it, Luo Feng said. Take your time, Marquis Chu Yu replied. I've only been a first-rank marquis a short while. As I make allies, a way will open up. I refuse to believe I can't gain even one type of material from the 7 in Yanfeng. He knew the 3 epochs after becoming Chaos Realm were a protected period, a time to grow. Once it ended, he would face the same cutthroat competition as the other first-rank marquises, and he would then need guest official Luo He's help. Time flowed. Luo Feng spent 3 epochs in Chu capital, immersed in the inheritance of the first section of the 8 tribulation lifeform, absorbing knowledge and improving the transformation method. In an elegant pavilion, Marquise Chu Yu met with a woman in crimson armor. "Marquise Chu Yu, rest assured," she said. "If the North Sea Beast Spirit is entrusted to me, I will help you get the perfect level Chaos Layer biological material you need." The woman was a Purgatory City Lord, daughter of Tiantu King, who had been granted a fief by Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom. Her family flourished there. Tiantu King had been a direct disciple of the Yanfeng ancestor and was an elder revered even by emperors. Of all Tiantu King's children, she alone had reached the Chaos Realm. In Yanfeng's administration, 13 emperors led the kingdom, and the imperial family's first-rank marquises oversaw guest officials. God Kings had no authority to probe the Chaos Layer or capture perfect Chaos Layer creatures. Only emperors or a Tiantu King could claim such rights. Marquise Chu Yu felt it would be difficult to scheme against such high-level figures, and he counted himself lucky to have secured her promise. As he left the pavilion, many sought audience with a first-rank marquise. Some ordinary Chaos Realm cultivators tried every avenue to get close, hoping for an opportunity. Suddenly, a voice called out, "Di Chu Yu." Marquise Chu Yu turned. 2 figures were approaching, leading groups of attendants. "Di Chu Yu, Marquise Chu Chi and I both went to help on the North Sea Beast Forest mission, and you didn't give either of us face," a grotesque black-furred figure said. Lightning danced in his eyes. "I guessed you were working with the Purgatory City Lord, and I was right. For 3 epochs, I've been lenient in assigning tasks, but the North Sea Hunt mission is important to me," Marquise Chu Yu replied. "I can't give up anymore." "You've gotten a lot bolder," the black-furred figure sneered. A murderous aura washed over Chu Yu, making his heart pound. Among the 7 first-rank marquises, Marquise Chu Yuan was notorious for his madness. He bore bloodlines from both the Yanfeng imperial family and the Thunder imperial family. His harsh upbringing had twisted his temperament. He only tolerated those who matched his ferocity. A brawny man beside Marquise Chu Yuan looked at Chu Yu and said, "When you're weak, act like it. Take something forgotten. We first-rank marquises are equals." Di Chu Yu's face hardened. "I gave up an Earth-level mission before and didn't claim it. For the North Sea Hunt, I never claimed it, so I have priority. I already told you to give it to us, and you still dare to snatch it." Marquise Chu Yuan roared. A terrifying fluctuation slammed into Di Chu Yu, throwing him backward and sending his attendants flying. Even 2 Chaos Realm cultivators beside him felt the sweep of the power. The formation in the pavilion broke under the force, and the few ordinary attendants near Di Chu Yu turned to dust. "I accidentally killed a few of your attendants," Marquise Chu Yuan chuckled coldly. "I'll probably be fined a few thousand merits. Consider this a warning. Next time I won't be so gentle." He turned and left, followed by Marquise Chu Chi, who shot Chu Yu a cold glance. "Di Chu Yu, you know his temper. Take less damage this time, or even I can't stop him." Di Chu Yu and his 2 Chaos Realm subordinates were left with ugly expressions. One tentacled cultivator could not hold back. "Marquise, are we just going to take that?" "Go back," Di Chu Yu said coldly, and they retreated. The other guests, all distinguished, dared not linger after witnessing the clash between the 3 first-rank marquises. 2 days later, Di Chu Yu arrived at Luo Feng's cave mansion. "Brother Chu Yu," Luo Feng greeted him, emerging from seclusion. "You didn't disappoint Luo He's expectations." Di Chu Yu laughed wholeheartedly. "After 3 epochs of scheming, I finally obtained this perfect-level Chaos Layer biological material." He opened a jade box. Inside lay a yellow feather that glowed with a strange, otherworldly luster. Chapter 118, The Spiritual Will of the Second Divine King. Luo Feng stared at the yellow feather inside the jade box. The feather's edge was razor-sharp and rippled with spatial energy. Standing beside him, Emperor Chu Yu smiled. "This is a golden feather divine bird under Tiantu King. It was naturally born in the Chaos Layer. When it first formed, it was still immature, only at mid-level chaos strength. Tiantu King carefully raised it with rare treasures until it reached its most perfect physical form. Now it can rival a peak primal chaos realm opponent. Grown to its perfect physical form? Luo Feng repeated, surprised. The Chaos Layer creatures he had captured, the silver light beings formed by the fusion of countless droplets, were actually very young. His Silver River transformation method set 108 trillion droplets as the fusion limit. This golden feathered divine bird, though born with chaos strength, still had room to develop. Emperor Chu Yu continued, I traded with Tiantu King's daughter, City Lord Lianyue, for this single feather. Because it was a voluntary exchange, the feather won't actively disintegrate. Luo Feng bowed his head and said gratefully, This is a tremendous help. Thank you. There are only two ways to study the body materials of cultivators, exotic beasts or fully conscious Chaos Layer creatures. One is to destroy the opponent's consciousness and then research their physical remains. The other, if the opponent is alive, is to have their willing consent. Otherwise, their blood, feathers, or other materials will self-destruct at a thought. The stronger the life form, the less likely it is to consent to being studied. Emperor Chu Yu chuckled. Why be so formal between us? My first 30 epochs in the Chaos Realm are a protection period. Both you and I can cultivate in peace. After that protection ends, however, I'll need to call in some favors. If there's anything you need, say the word, Luo Feng replied. During the protection period, you don't need my help. Focus on your cultivation, Emperor Chu Yu said. I have other matters to attend to, so I'll be leaving now. Luo Feng saw Emperor Chu Yu to the cave entrance. When the emperor left, Luo Feng went straight back into seclusion. He was unaware of the deeper conflict between Emperor Chu Yu and two of the other first-rank marquis. After arriving in Chu capital, Luo Feng had kept his distance. He had made few friends. The capital's politics were treacherous. The 7 first-rank marquis were already the dominant forces, plus there were the personal disciples of Di Chu and attendees tied to the God Kings. Factions were complex. During this period of rapid cultivation, Luo Feng preferred seclusion. He knew that once his strength was sufficient, the tangled situation would quickly sort itself out. At the core of Chu governance were those 7 first-rank marquis. The entire capital dared not openly discuss disputes among them. Witnesses to those conflicts kept silent. Offending a first-rank Marcus could mean death, and could drag in the Marcus's backing families. Emperor Chu Yu also wanted to shield Luo Feng from this. He hoped the guest official Luo He would focus only on becoming as strong as possible. 2 of the marquises, Lord Chuji and Lord Chuyuan, were both peak primal chaos realm, and Chuji had 2 guest officials while Chuyuan had 1. Together, their faction could field 5 individuals at the primal chaos peak level. Emperor Chu Yu knew how formidable those 2 and their following cultivators were. Among the 7, only those 2 were allied, making them the dominant side. Though Luo Feng, guest official Luo He, had also reached peak primal chaos, he was outnumbered. Lord Chuyuan, bearing royal blood from the 2 great ancient kingdoms and personally cultivated by the ancestor, was the most promising of the 7 to break through beyond the Chaos realm. Emperor Chu Yu had to admit it. Chuyuan was the most unrestrained of the brothers, but also the most talented and strongest at the primal chaos peak. Without overwhelming superiority, it was difficult to eliminate an adversary completely. Still, strengths varied. Luo Feng could suppress Liu Ying, for example, and Emperor Chu Yu resolved to grow strong enough before the protection period ended so Chuyuan would not be able to touch him. Inside his cave's secluded chamber, within a layer of space in the Star Tower, Luo Feng did not entangle himself with the capital's factions. He concentrated on cultivation. He examined the yellow feather again, pinched and pulled it between his fingers. It was incredibly tough. The feather's edge was like a blade. He thought, and the feather rose to hover in midair. When he reached out, a faint sharpness tingled his fingertip. He flicked and sheared off a tiny tuft from the feather's edge and felt a slight resistance. My close combat strength is stronger than my long-range Silver River transformation method, but cutting this little tuft met with resistance, he thought. He gripped the tuft and unleashed a burst of power beyond his physical limit, a force at the level of a peak primal chaos realm, and pulverized the tuft into its most basic particles. Tens of thousands of particles swirled like wind, each carrying inscriptions of chaos law glyphs. At first glance, they resembled the particles from his Silver River and Black Abyss transformation methods, but their life spirituality was thousands, even tens of thousands of times stronger. It was a qualitative difference. Why were they particles and yet so full of life spirit? Luo Feng split one open. Inside was an inscription of chaos law and, surprisingly, two fused subparticles, a larger particle surrounding two smaller, partially merged ones. He split those two as well. As they opened, many laws and glyphs unraveled, forming a yin-yang combined trinity. At that moment, Luo Feng grasped the most basic life composition of this mighty Chaos Layer creature. The particles' life spirituality came from their yin-yang trinity structure. Pure yin, pure yang, and the fused yin-yang center, the trinity contained endless profundities. The yin-yang combination was recorded in the Life Limbs chapter of the first section of the 8-section life-body inheritance Luo Feng had. Using that inheritance, he understood the concept of one origin, yin-yang combined trinity, 10 directions world, 8-section life-body. The trinity form was extremely complex and demanded more from life spirit and the life body. He would start with the simpler yin-yang form. Guided by the inheritance, Luo Feng began adapting his transformation method. He tried to convert his divine power into two combined droplets of water, but the first attempts looked crude and the life spirituality weak. Yin and yang must complement each other. He dispelled and tried again, learning from each failure and studying the inherited texts between attempts. The golden feather divine bird could feel its feather being examined, but because the feather had been exchanged lawfully, it could only accept the intrusion and not actively destroy the sample. Luo Feng persisted. With a practiced wave of his hand, two fluorescent droplets finally combined into a pleasing form. The life spirituality inside leapt tenfold. Encouraged, he kept refining the method, accelerating with each success. His soul had grown stronger, and his mental will increased, allowing him to manipulate the transformation faster and more confidently. Soon he was forming hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of millions of droplets at once. Eventually, he reached 108 trillion fluorescent droplets, paired 2 by 2 into a restrained fluorescent river. It looked ordinary on the surface, but Luo Feng felt his consciousness integrate with it far more deeply. The combined might had multiplied several times. After being in Chu capital, my transformation method has undergone a qualitative change, Luo Feng said with satisfaction. My mental will has now reached the threshold of the second realm of the God King, and I can control many more Silver River blade lights. The total power of these blades should be at least 10 times greater than when I was in Huyang City. He was pleased. The mental will at the Chaos Realm level improved very slowly. Only when advancing past the Chaos bottleneck to the God King level did it change qualitatively. The God King's mental will itself then accumulates slowly, from first to third realm, progress measured in small, painstaking gains. Even ancient God Kings struggled to push further over the years. My mental will reach the threshold of the God King's second realm because my life level transformed, Luo Feng reflected. When he had been an eternal true God, he had already possessed God King level will. As his perfected body matured into the Chaos realm and his soul strengthened, his mental will rose correspondingly. Unless his life level climbed again, allowing a more pronounced rise to God King level, he would have to continue accumulating power gradually. He understood how slow and hard that climb could be. Time passed, and when it was time to assign duties to the 7 first-rank marquises of the Chu imperial line, Emperor Chu Yu had been unusually low-key. Half an epoch slipped by, and finally his turn for priority came around again. It's finally my turn, Emperor Chu Yu thought, scanning the newest king-level assignments. Even the first-rank marquises only rarely encountered king-level tasks, and the 7 had to pick an order. When he saw the entry, guarding the Netherfire world, his eyes lit up. This task is worth more than the North Sea Beast Forest. It's mine. With a cold smirk, the junior first-rank Marcus Emperor Chu Yu used his priority to claim it. He'd kept a low profile since the last time he'd been taught a lesson, but now he struck again. No hesitation, the task was his. The other 6 first-rank marquises were notified at the same time. Murmurs rippled through them. Interesting. I underestimated Chuyu. He's bold. He actually snatched it outright? He's asking for trouble. No rush. Lord Chuyuan will surely be the first to act. Lord Chuyuanho, instantly erupted with rage when he learned Emperor Chuyu had used his priority to take a king-level task. A newly advanced Chaos Realm expert, no matter how favored by his infinite divine body or the resources of a first-rank marquise, should not compete with men of the primal Chaos Realm peak, he believed. Chuyu was overstepping. Lord Chuan contacted Emperor Chuyu directly. How dare you take a king-level task, he snarled. Emperor Chuyu replied coolly, unafraid. I'm a first-rank Marcus. Am I not entitled to take a king-level task? You didn't learn last time, did you? Lord Chuan's voice crackled with killing intent. I heard you've been called the strongest among the first-rank marquises, that you've beaten many primal Chaos Realm peak experts. You boast too much. I'm at my mansion. If you have the guts, come kill me. Lord Chuan froze. Storming into a first-rank Marcus's residence was unthinkable. Even a guest official's cave mansion could call on some of the Chu capital's protection. A first-rank Marcus's mansion could draw on power from chaotic realm transcendence. No one, not even many ancient god kings, would dare barge in recklessly. So you'll hide in your mansion? Lord Chuyuan demanded. That's right, Emperor Chuyu answered leisurely. During the protection period, I won't step out. What will you do about it? I won't yield on any task, Lord Chuan growled. You and I are both first-rank marquises. Try to suppress me, only wishful thinking. Emperor Chuyu cut the transmission with a sneer, bored of the exchange. Safe inside his mansion, he felt no threat. He did one more thing. He summoned Luo Feng, the Luo He guest official, and warned, I've got conflicts with the other first-rank marquises. It'd be best if your disciples don't go out for a while. Luo Feng, secluding himself at the time, received the message and nodded. Don't worry. I'll tell them. He instructed Morosa, Moyu Qingyan, an origin ancestor, to keep to the cave mansion. If they left, it should only be as divine power avatars. That message stoked Lord Chuan's fury into lightning. He tore apart the pavilion he occupied. Nearby maids were singed to ash in the storm of his temper. Then the descent of Chuji Marquise cut through his wrath. Chuyuan, Chuji's voice boomed, thundering into him and bringing some clarity back to his eyes. Lord Chuyuan looked up to see his older brother descend. This Emperor Chuyu is provoking me on purpose, Lord Chuyuan spat. He wants me to lose my temper. You're being baited, Chuji Marcus said sternly. If you act rashly and break the ancestors' regulations, you'll be imprisoned in the Netherfire world for 10,000 epochs. You've suffered to become a first-rank marquise. You can't squander it for a petty grudge. Don't let him make a clown of you. Lord Chuyuan nodded, squeezing his rage back into discipline. Chuji continued. When you act, observe the rules. Don't cross the prohibitions. Reluctantly, Lord Chuyuan agreed. But he still wanted to deal with Emperor Chuyu. Chuji suggested they consult a few Primal Chaos Realm Peak guest officials and find a way to let Lord Chuyuan vent without breaking the law. A short time later, Chuji, Lord Chuyuan, and 3 guest officials met. The 5 Primal Chaos Realm Peak existences talked strategy and allowed Lord Chuyuan to blow off some steam in safer channels. If he doesn't vent, he'll just explode later, one said. Lord Chuyuan's face was black with anger. This Emperor Chuyu says he'll stay entirely within his mansion during the protection period. Fine. If he won't come out, maybe his family will. Attacking a first-rank marquise's family is tantamount to attacking him directly, Chuji warned. I won't kill them. Just make trouble, Lord Chuan retorted, black energy coiling from his body. A little punishment. That's a taboo, Chuji sighed. If not that, then what? A green-robed guest official smiled. Don't worry, Emperor Chuyu is seeking resources. Hit what he cares about most, his strongest ally. Luohe guest official is his most formidable supporter. Teaching a guest official a lesson isn't legally restricted. The kingdom won't intervene. Luohe, they agreed, was dangerous. Primal Chaos Realm peak level, with life-saving techniques and many treasured items carried with him. We might not be able to kill him outright, the green-robed man said, but we can take his treasures. An expert like him relies on accumulated treasures. Losing them would hurt. An old woman and a golden-hooped elder nodded. We can take his treasures, they said calmly. Lord Chuan's eyes flashed. Fine. If he hides behind his protections, then we'll target Luo He. Let's see if he still dares to support Emperor Chu Yu. Meanwhile, in Chu Capital's Thousand-Star Tower, Origin Ancestor sat in a small pavilion, drinking wine and contemplating life. He'd spent half a reincarnation era suppressed by the primordial universe, studying the myriad forms and mechanisms of the Origin continent. Combining inheritances from the Heart Shadow sect and the lessons of predecessors, he had developed the virtual universe, an eternal level method. It had reached initial success. He could now form an illusory avatar that was a physical body with about 1/3 of his true strength. Sometimes reality is illusion, and illusion is reality, Origin Ancestor mused, pleased with his breakthrough. A ripple of power folded down on him. Before he could react, a green-robed figure materialized nearby and bound him with invisible forces. The gap between them was vast. Origin Ancestor found himself utterly overwhelmed. "Are you Origin Ancestor?" the green-robed man asked. This was no mere divine power avatar, but a true, eternal, true God-level body, Celestial Great Saint Tianyu. Origin Ancestor bowed. "What does Celestial Great Saint Tianyu require?" "I know Luo He brought you to Chu Capital," the green-robed man said coldly. "Tell Luo He to come now. If he doesn't, you'll die." Origin Ancestor's heart leapt. "Yes, I'll send the message at once." He kept his voice humble and managed to keep them believing they had only captured an illusory avatar. He hoped the deception would buy him time. Back in Luo Feng's mansion, Luo Feng, secluding himself, was roused by Origin Ancestor's message. "My illusory avatar was seized by Celestial Great Saint Tianyu in the Thousand-Star Tower," Origin Ancestor reported. "He ordered me to tell you to come immediately, or he will kill me. But what he caught is only my illusory avatar." Luo Feng frowned. He had not cultivated avatars himself. Origin Ancestor's success surprised him. If even the avatar was captured, it meant the attackers were bold. Anger flared at the thought that they were now targeting those around him. "Be careful," Origin Ancestor warned. "If they're asking you to come, it may be an ambush." "I understand." Luo Feng's killing intent hardened. With a single step, he pierced space and disappeared from his mansion, heading straight for the Thousand-Star Tower. Chapter 120. He is not at the peak of the Chaos Realm. Thousand-Star Tower was normally a modest business in Chu Capital, but today it witnessed the most extraordinary event since its founding. 2 first-rank marquises and 3 Chaos Realm guest officials were assembled inside. That Luo He's heavenly secrets are obscure. His karma is reclusive. It's hard to get a bead on him, the old woman beside Chuji Marquis said. He rose so quickly and has few ties. He may even be the reincarnation of some ancient expert. When we move, we must go all out. We can't be careless with any primal Chaos Realm peak expert, the old man with golden bands on his left arm added. The green-robed man smiled. Primal Chaos Realm peak in terms of realm has already reached the threshold of a god king, but this Luo He concentrates on the physical body lineage. His techniques are crude, brute force, easier to deal with. Paths like time origin, space origin, karma origin, and other origin great paths, when cultivated to the primal Chaos Realm peak, were mysterious and unpredictable, hard to trap or kill. A physical body specialist, however, while difficult to actually destroy, often lacked in other aspects. The black-furred, ugly Lord Chuyuan snorted and roared with delight. "Good, the stronger his body, the better. Then I can smash him with 1,000 clubs and turn him into meat paste. Let's see how tough he is." Such unbridled temper was commonplace among the royal experts of the Thunder Ancient Country. Calm rationality was the minority. The old woman, however, glanced off into the distance with an inexplicable tremor in her heart. She had comprehended the karma origin Grand Tao, but felt Luo He's heavenly secrets were too deep. She could only glimpse so much. Whoosh! A man in black immediately stepped out of the void, a pair of dark gold horns on his forehead. Luo Feng's face was cold. The moment he appeared, he looked straight at Thousand-Star Tower and locked onto the 2 marquises and the 3 guest officials. "Lord Chuan, Chuji Marquis, and 3 guest officials," Luo Feng observed, "all with status. Yet you would lay hands on the eternal true God who stands beside me?" "Luo He guest official is reclusive and seldom leaves his cave," Chuji Marquis replied with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. We only used a little method to invite him out. I assume you know some of our conflicts with Emperor Chu Yu? Since arriving in Chu capital, I've been in seclusion and don't know the details of every feud between first-rank marquises, Luo Feng said calmly. Chuji Marquise and the others were taken aback. As a guest official invited by Emperor Chu Yu, Luo Feng didn't even know their conflicts with the emperor? It doesn't matter, Chuji Marquise said, recovering his composure. We give you two choices. 1. Stay away from Emperor Chu Yu and never help him again. 2. Continue assisting Emperor Chu Yu and become our enemy. Choose. Emperor Chu Yu had invited a guest official carefully, someone trustworthy and with great potential to cultivate. When he first brought Luo Feng in, he had believed the man to be an eternal true god with an infinite divine body, someone with whom they could grow and support each other. He had been prepared to tolerate a slow start, but Luo Feng's strength had surpassed expectations. Two choices? Luo Feng smiled faintly. Do you even have the right to make me choose? That wounded their pride. Lord Chuyuan's temper flared. Chuji Marquise's eyes flashed with anger, and the green-robed man's illusory elemental clone, bound nearby, was extinguished in an instant. The sky around Thousand Star Tower dimmed. The old woman began a mental assault, weaving karma to blur perceptions and confuse the mind. But Luo Feng, whose mental will had reached the God King's second realm and who practiced the Li Yuan art, was untouched. He detected the technique. Its mental level was only at the initial threshold of a God King. It was aimed to obscure self-perception, the mark of a guest official versed in karma. At the same moment, the old man's golden bands vanished from his arm and reappeared as 5 illusory golden rings in the air, coiling around Luo Feng. The bands tightened with wind force and restraints, strangulation and suppression woven into them. This Luo Hei can't even evade my golden bands, the old man sneered. His true body is finished. The green-robed man's grand earth formation flared into being. Countless chains of heaven and earth condensed and wrapped toward Luo Feng. Their attackers smiled. The trap was sprung. Victory seemed assured. Luo Feng's voice cut through the scene. He exerted only a little power, and the basic components of his 5 transformation methods reshaped into yin-yang particle forms, causing a massive surge. 4 of those 5 methods were close combat Silver River transformations. In close quarters, he could unleash unimaginable explosive power. When executing the Chaos Realm blade technique, he could simultaneously send forth tens of thousands of Silver River blade lights. In truth, he could unleash more than 100 billion transformation units at once. Bang! 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 The 5 golden bands shattered one by one under a single exertion. The heavenly chains dissolved on contact with his clothes. The scene froze the 2 marquises and 3 guest officials in stunned silence. My golden bands! Shattered! The old man cried. These were secret treasure weapons. He could accept being stretched, but not broken in an instant. When the chains of the green-robed man's grand formation touched Luo Feng, they simply vanished. The power his chains encountered dissolved, and panic flared. Run! The green-robed man bellowed, trying to flee even as he sent messages out. A boundless silver light erupted around Thousand Star Tower and formed a massive spherical cage, enclosing it completely, an impenetrable sphere of silver that severed the layers of space itself. Luo Feng took a step and was beside the green-robed man in an instant. 5 fingers closed around him. Several feet of the surrounding space collapsed into chaos. All spatial layers were annihilated, and a terrifying blow smashed through. Celestial Great Saint Tianyu's body, he was the green-robed man, was extinguished in a single strike without even a chance to struggle. First, the golden bands were ruined, then the heaven and earth chains, and finally, Celestial Great Saint Tianyu's body could not withstand the assault. Even though Tianyu's earth control body was formidable, comparable to Lord Luyan and blessed with strong life-saving capacities, he was fragile before Luo Feng. Boom! Boom! Luo Feng's arms swelled like pillars of heaven and reached out. Both hands grabbed, sweeping toward the old man and the old woman. Luo Feng had detailed information on all present. The 3 guest officials were the ones most capable of escape, so he took out Celestial Great Saint Tianyu first, then moved on to the others. Chuji Marquise and Lord Chuyuan, though formidable, had poor escape capabilities. The old woman snatched Chuji Marquise and vanished in an instant. The old man's body disintegrated and scattered, managing to avoid death. When they reappeared at a distance, both looked back in shock and anger at the silver cage. It severed outside from inside, cutting spatial layers and leaving only the world membrane intact. Marquis, I can only bring one Chaos Realm life form with me, merging into the Karma Escape Technique, the woman said, breathless. The Karma Escape Technique, an advanced escape refined through her comprehension of the Origin Great Path and a legacy from the Yanfeng Ancient Kingdom, allowed one to merge into karma lines and flee. Carrying another life form made the maneuver far more difficult. Thanks to guest official Shu, if not for guest official Shu, I wouldn't have escaped either, Chuji Marquis said, furious and shocked. From where they stood, they could barely make out the silver sphere. It isolated the tower from sight and sealed it. Is there any way to rescue Lord Chuyuan and the others? Chuji Marquis asked. No. The woman shook her head. Luohe moves not only with terrifying speed, but even when Celestial Great Saint Tianyu controlled the earth, he still traveled the void. If I tried to infiltrate with the Karma Escape Technique, I'd be hit the moment I reappeared. My true body isn't as strong as Tianyu's. If I'm struck, I die. He seems to be a Chaos Realm transcendent of the physical body lineage, someone who can go toe-to-toe with a god king by sheer physique. He isn't someone we can provoke. The woman's face was pale. She had not expected only the two of them to get away this time. As a first-rank Marquis, Emperor Chuyu had a wide net of intelligence throughout Chu capital. News of the Thousand-Star Tower battle reached him at once. What? Lord Chuyuan and Chuji Marcus fighting Luohe? Emperor Chuyu demanded, alarmed. Didn't I tell Luohe to be careful? How did he walk into an ambush? Inside the silver light sphere, Thousand-Star Tower remained sealed off from the outside world, its spatial layers cut, its occupants trapped. Outside, only silence and dread answered the Emperor's question.